LoveLore Library. Chapter 418. He really didn't dare, huh? Lin Yi shrugged. I just smoothed out the metal on my car, how am I trying to scare you? Just you wait. Don't leave if you dare. Tiandi humphed coldly before pulling out his phone. Ruoguang, where are you? I'm in the North District, on Southern Titanium Road. My car was hit by someone, and this guy doesn't want to pay up, even using his fist to scare me. Fine, I'll wait for you, hurry up. Lin Yi frowned. Since the guy didn't want to let this go, then he'd deal with it. Lin Yi pulled out his phone as well and called Ling Shan. Ling Shan was quite surprised to see Lin Yi's call. She thought that Lin Yi had thought of a solution this quickly. She picked up, surprised. Lin Yi. You got a solution? No, someone ran into me on the wrong side of the road. Come take a look. Lin Yi said faintly. Ran into you? Are you alright? Ling Shan paused. She needed Lin Yi's help right now, and if something were to happen to Lin Yi, then the rescue mission would be over. I'm fine. They're trying to scam me, and they're trying to scare me. Lin Yi said. You're coming to me for something like this. Can't you solve it yourself? Ling Shan found Lin Yi's words funny and annoying at the same time. You're coming to me for something like this. Aren't you supposed to be capable? Alright, I'll smash his car and beat him up. Lin Yi said. Aw. Ling Shan smiled bitterly. Alright, wait for me, I'll go over now. If Lin Yi were to smash someone's car, he'd probably end up in the police station. She'd be the one in trouble then, so Ling Shan had no choice but to agree. Southern Titanium Road. Lin Yi smiled. If they get here before you come, I'll have to do it. Alright, I got it. Ling Shan humphed, afraid that Lin Yi would cause trouble for her. Don't be rash, Miss Braindead is coming. Ling Shan added helplessly. Alright. Only now did Lin Yi realize that Ling Shan had a cute side to her. This violent, brain-dead girl wasn't completely useless. It doesn't matter who you go to. I'm telling you, you're dead meat today. Don't even think about leaving if you don't get 100,000. Tiandi threatened, pointing at Lin Yi. This was his newly bought BMW. It had been driven for less than half a month, but it was hit by Lin Yi. The headlights were broken, which made him very distressed. Therefore, he had to make Lin Yi pay the price. The roar of an engine was heard, accompanied by the earth-shattering subwoofer DJ music. A motorcycle quickly drove over and stopped between the BMW and the van. Tiandi was overjoyed. His son was here, and the person who hit his car was dead meat. Dad, what's going on? Who hit you? Zhou Ruoguang jumped off the motorcycle and took charge. He crashed my car and didn't pay up, I'll kill him. That's the little bastard. Beat him up first, then smash his car and make him pay 100,000. Tiandi smiled coldly as he pointed at Lin Yi and gave the order. Tiandi was going crazy with anger. His brand new BMW, with a cool license plate, was destroyed by this kid with a van. He wouldn't be able to calm down if he didn't teach him a lesson. Besides, Tiandi hadn't been in a good mood for the past 2 days. He had his eyes on a girl in the company, and was about to get her when her boyfriend came out and ruined his plans. Who? Just you. Hey. Zhou Ruoguang was about to teach the kid with the van a lesson when he turned around and saw Lin Yi. Zhou Ruoguang had better eyesight than his old man Tiandi. Tiandi didn't recognize Lin Yi, but Zhou Ruoguang recognized Lin Yi right away. How? How come it's you? Before Lin Yi could reply, Zhou Ruoguang grabbed his father's arm and pulled him to the side. He whispered, Dad, why did you piss him off again? I can't wait to avoid him, and now you're pissing him off. Aren't you just looking for trouble? Who? You know this kid. Tiandi paused. Even the men who came with Zhou Ruoguang were taken aback. They didn't know why Zhou Ruoguang would say something like that. Isn't he the one who threw you out of the hospital room? Zhou Ruoguang smiled bitterly. Dad, just apologize to him. Don't cause trouble, this kid isn't easy to deal with. Apologize? How can you do that? I don't believe he can fight 4 hands with 2 fists. You have so many people with you, what's there to be afraid of? Tiandi frowned. He was a celebrity, after all, and now he had to apologize to a little brat after getting hit by a car on the street. What face would he have left if word got out? How could he take that? Then find someone else. Dad, I don't want to die yet. Zhou Ruoguang shook his head. Lin Yi had already traumatized him last time, and he couldn't bring himself to go against Lin Yi at all. You're just a piece of trash that can't be helped. Tiandi humphed coldly. Even your brother has more balls than you. I'll ask your brother to take care of this kid next time. Zhou Ruoguang kept his head down and didn't say anything. He really didn't dare do anything to Lin Yi. It wasn't an act, and so he pretended not to hear anything Tiandi said. Trash. Tiandi was infuriated. He was about to say something else when a police siren sounded not far away. A police car sped over and stopped beside Tiandi's BMW, its lights flashing. Ling Shan let out a sigh of relief when she saw that everyone was alive and well. She'd rushed through the red lights all the way here because she was afraid that Lin Yi would cause trouble for her. Luckily, Lin Yi didn't hit anyone. All of you, follow me back to the police station. Ling Shan's heart was in her throat the whole time, and she was naturally furious. She pointed at Tiandi and Lin Yi. Tiandi wasn't expecting a police officer to show up all of a sudden. He frowned. Why was there a police officer here when he didn't even call the police? Were they just passing by? What a busybody. I say, comrade, I have friends in the traffic police. You don't have to worry about this anymore, we can handle this ourselves. Tiandi waved his hand at Ling Shan. As far as he was concerned, Ling Shan was young, and a policewoman. She was just an intern who'd just graduated, so he didn't really care about her. She was quite pretty, and her body was hot as well. But Tiandi wasn't stupid enough to flirt with a policewoman. He didn't want to go to jail yet. Chapter 419. I'll give you a mission, alright, give me a minute, I'll make a call. Tiandi pulled out his phone and dialed a number. Hello. Wang bro. I'm so Tiandi, I got into a car accident on Jinan Road and was about to settle it privately when a police officer came over. Right, can you talk to her? Alright, I'll give her the phone. With that, Tiandi handed the phone to Ling Shan. Answer the phone. Ling Shan looked at Tiandi with a half smile as she took the phone. Hello, I'm Ling Shan. Who's this? Song. Captain Song. The guy was just about to say something when he heard Ling Shan's name. Everyone in Songshan knew about Ling Shan from the criminal police team, after all. Who would dare go against her? He couldn't possibly order a criminal police captain around, could he? Plus, since Ling Shan was keeping an eye on Tiandi, it might be some big case. Maybe he was doing some illegal business. He had to draw a line between him and Ling Shan as soon as possible. With that in mind, Wang Bro said, It's fine, Captain Song, I won't disturb you anymore. Ling Shan handed the phone back to Tiandi, who didn't hear what Wang Bro was saying. I'm Ling Shan. He thought that everything was settled, and was about to thank Wang Bro when he realized that the call had been hung up. Tiandi didn't think much of it, thinking that Wang Bro was busy. Wang Bro told you, right? You can leave now, little comrade. Don't stick your nose in other people's business. Dad. Zhou Ruoguang quickly pulled Tiandi back. Tiandi didn't know Lingshan, but how could Zhou Ruoguang not know her? As the head of the North District's gangsters, it'd be a waste if he didn't know the criminal police captain. His face paled as he watched his father lecture him. What are you doing? Tiandi glared at his son. What do you want? Dad, she's Captain Song from the crime squad. Zhou Ruoguang said carefully. Wah. Tiandi froze like an idiot. She's the captain of the criminal police force. Are you leaving or not? I don't need to do anything, do I? Lingshan said as she pulled out the handcuffs. Let's go. Let's go then. Tiandi's face was grim. He didn't think that he'd pissed off the captain of the criminal police. If he didn't leave now, the captain would probably pull out a gun. It's none of my business. I'm just passing by. Zhou Ruoguang didn't want to go to the police station. You're going too. You are illegally driving an unlicensed modified motorcycle, and I suspect that you are trying to gather a crowd to cause trouble. Lingshan didn't give Zhou Ruoguang the chance to explain. I know you can run, but you can't run. You can choose to run, I won't run. I'll cooperate with the investigation. Zhou Ruoguang smiled miserably with a bitter face. Thank you, Miss Braindead. Lin Yi was quite grateful for Lingshan's help, although Ruoguang's presence reminded him of who Tiandi was. Getting rid of them would be a piece of cake, but Ruoguang's presence reminded him of who Tiandi was. Lingshan's speed, however, made Lin Yi think that she wasn't bad. No. You're coming with me. Lingshan was about to explode. You can call me Miss Braindead in private, can't you? Calling me that in front of so many people, how am I supposed to back down? She wasn't going to let Lin Yi get away with it. I want to go too. Lin Yi pointed at his nose, speechless. He was about to say something when Tang Yun spoke up first. Let's go, we have to cooperate with the investigation, it's our duty. Tang Yun was a good kid, naturally, she wouldn't reject going to the police station. Besides, it's not our fault, it's their fault, we'll be able to explain ourselves in the police station, All right. Lin Yi nodded, a bitter smile on his face. Tang Yun was a good kid, after all. Lin Yi didn't care what Lingshan said, and he'd just leave. He didn't believe that Lingshan would come after him. Phew. Lingshan breathed out in relief, too. She'd blurted out those words in a fit of anger, not thinking about the consequences at all. She regretted it immediately after, since when had Lin Yi ever given her any face? Wasn't she just asking to be humiliated if she ordered him around? If Lin Yi left, she'd be in an even worse position in front of Zhou Tiandi and his son. This was even more serious than the Miss Braindead from before. Now that Tang Yun said that she wanted to go to the police station, Lingshan breathed out in relief. At the same time, she felt grateful for Tang Yun, but at the same time, she was annoyed at Lin Yi for listening to Tang Yun and taking care of her. She wasn't any worse than Tang Yun, was she? She wasn't any weaker than Tang Yun in terms of looks and height, and her body was several times hotter than Tang Yun's as well. Lin Yi was a blind man, how could he be so rude to her? Lingshan got angrier the more she thought about it. Why was Lin Yi so gentle to Tang Yun and treating her like this? Did he hate her that much? She had to be Miss Braindead to ask for his help. You guys follow me in the car. Lingshan got into the police car, and Lin Yi, Tiandi, and the others followed behind as they made their way to the police station. Zhou Tiandi didn't know about the relationship between Lin Yi and Lingshan, but he was overjoyed to hear Lin Yi call Lingshan Miss Braindead. This was going to be fun. This Lin Yi was probably going to get beaten up, wasn't he? But Tiandi didn't plan on letting Lin Yi go so easily. On the way to the police station, he called his youngest son, Zhou Ruoming. "Hey, Ruoming, are you at school?" Tiandi had always told Zhou Ruoming to study hard in school, not letting him get involved in fights. But this time, he was really pissed off. His eldest son, Zhou Ruoguang, was too much of a coward, he couldn't even teach someone a lesson. But his youngest son was a bold and ruthless character. He had always told him to study hard, but Tiandi knew what kind of person he was. "Dad, I'm at school, studying." Ruoming had just finished his meeting with Xiao Xiao, and his father's phone call made him jump. It wasn't checking on him, was it? He quickly explained himself. "Alright, stop bullshitting." Tiandi scolded. "Do you think I don't know what kind of person you are? I'll give you a mission. Go to your Uncle Yan's villa in the northern suburbs and ask him to stop someone in front of the police station. I'll send you that person's information later." "Aw. Me?" Zhou Ruoming paused. He didn't think that his father would ask him to do something like this. Didn't he always ask his big brother to do it? Plus, it was his first time asking him to take Uncle Yan on a mission. That was too awesome. Chapter 420. Ambush and Interception. Yes, you're the one. Tiandi was about to explode from anger. He wouldn't have asked Zhou Ruoming to do this otherwise. He couldn't take it anymore, especially after learning that Lin Yi was the one who'd thrown him out of the hospital room the other day. He had to teach Lin Yi a lesson. "Alright, I'll be right there." Zhou Ruoming nodded quickly, thinking that it'd be great if he could bring Uncle Yan to teach Lin Yi a lesson. With Uncle Yan there, beating up Lin Yi would be child's play. Of course, Zhou Ruoming didn't know that the crippled Heibao bro was a golden class master as well. He wouldn't have thought so otherwise. Tiandi sighed softly as he listened to Ruoming's excited tone. His youngest son was quite the ruthless one. Did he make the wrong decision back then? If he'd let his older son study hard and let his younger son mingle in society, that would have been a good choice, but he'd already made the wrong choice. He'd have to make the best of it. Uncle Yan didn't usually use his phone, nor did he use the phone in his room. He was a master of the world, and Zhou Ruoming wouldn't have had to go invite him personally otherwise. But Tiandi didn't mind. He was a master, after all, and it was normal for a golden class master like Uncle Yan to be different. Moreover, Uncle Yan was right, he was a fugitive, and living in seclusion was the right thing to do, in case someone discovered him. Zhou Ruoming quickly ran out of the school, hailed a taxi, and rushed to the villa in the northern suburbs. Uncle Yan knew Zhou Ruoming, and didn't ask much after hearing that it was an order from Zhou Ruoming. He put on a low-brimmed hat and hurried out the door with Zhou Ruoming. Uncle Yan was a golden class master who wandered between his sect and the underworld. He'd been doing robberies for his sect's funds, but he'd been wanted by the police once. Luckily, Tiandi had saved him, and so he stayed in Songshan, promising to do 3 things for Tiandi before leaving. He had done 2 before, and this was the last one. Once he was done, he could leave and continue his robbery. Beep beep. Zhou Ruoming received a message from Tiandi, the license plate number and model of the van written on it. After Zhou Ruoming told Uncle Yan about it, the two of them stood guard on the road in front of the police station. Ling Shan didn't make things difficult for Lin Yi when they arrived at the police station. She knew that Lin Yi didn't care about her at all, and that he was only here because of Tang Yun. Therefore, they only gave Lin Yi a statement and let Lin Yi and Tang Yun leave. Ling Shan sis is a nice person, why do you always call her that? Tang Yun didn't understand why Lin Yi would call Ling Shan a brain-dead girl. Wasn't Lin Yi a little too bold? He dared to call Ling Shan a brain-dead girl, and the weirdest thing was that Ling Shan didn't refute it even though she was angry. Ha, she's too troublesome, asking me for help all the time. Lin Yi shrugged and didn't say anything else on the topic. Suddenly, the jade on his chest jumped twice, and Lin Yi's face changed. He slowed down the car. Danger. Danger. Tang Yun paused, but before she could ask anything, a shadow floated over and stood not far from Lin Yi's car. Early phase golden class. Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. He knew the opponent's strength level, but he didn't know why this early phase golden class master would appear here. From the looks of it, he was here for him, but who sent him? Sihua. Obviously not. He'd already killed his late phase golden class master. Sending another early phase golden class was the same as sending himself to death. He believed that Sihua wasn't that stupid. Zhong Fabai. Probably not. He'd even sent Heibao Bro to prison. Jin Gubang. The only possibility that Lin Yi could think of was him. But in the next moment, Lin Yi realized that he was wrong. The person who jumped out after this early phase golden class master wasn't Jin Gubang, but Zhou Ruoming. Zhou Ruoming, on the other hand, was stunned when he saw Lin Yi and Tang Yun in the car. He almost burst out laughing. He recognized Lin Yi's van, but he couldn't remember Lin Yi's car plate number. Uncle Yan's eyes were sharp, and he saw Lin Yi's car coming over first, so he jumped out. It was only now that Zhou Ruoming realized that the person his father wanted him to stop was Lin Yi. In an instant, Zhou Ruoming's entire body was filled with excitement. He'd been worrying about how to deal with Lin Yi and imagined that Uncle Yan would help him, but Zhou Ruoming knew that it was impossible. He didn't expect it to become reality. Lin Yi. It's you. Zhou Ruoming laughed loudly. You didn't expect this, did you? You didn't expect this day to come, did you? Lin Yi classmate. Who asked you to pretend? This time, I'll let you die. Who do you think you are, trying to steal Tang Yun from me? Leave Tang Yun here today, and I'll spare your life. Lin Yi looked at Zhou Ruoming, stunned. Wasn't this guy too naive? Did he think he was invincible just because he got a golden class master? Not to mention the early phase of the golden class, even if it was the late phase of the golden class, he still had the strength to fight. Ever since he completed the first stage of the art of dragon mastery, Lin Yi's strength was comparable to the late phase of the golden class, and he could even fight a mystic class master in the early phase. Did you eat too many retarded pills? Lin Yi looked at Zhou Ruoming as if he was looking at an idiot. Even a retarded person wouldn't be like you, right? You're not just a normal retarded person, you're too retarded. Miss Retarded is 10,000 times smarter than you. Ha! Tang Yun, of course, knew who Lin Yi was talking about. She couldn't help but laugh when she heard Lin Yi's words. Zhou Ruoming couldn't help but stare blankly. His desire to take Tang Yun for himself grew stronger. It would be a waste to give such a good girl to Lin Yi. Miss Retarded. Zhou Ruoming didn't know who Miss Retarded was, but he knew that Lin Yi's words weren't good. He gritted his teeth. Lin Yi, it's useless for you to say anything now. Since you don't know what's good for you, then I won't be polite anymore. Uncle Yan, kill him. Leave that girl here. Zhou Ruoming was suspected of falsifying the imperial edict. Zhou Tiandi only asked him to teach Lin Yi a lesson, but Zhou Ruoming changed it to kill Lin Yi. Slap. Lin Yi slapped Zhou Ruoming's face again. I told you to stop thinking about Tang Yun. Do you have a bad memory or are you deaf? Chapter 421. Effortless Uncle Yan nodded slightly and threw a punch at Lin Yi. In his eyes, Lin Yi was fast, but he was still a normal person. One punch from him would be enough to finish him off. Slap. Zhou Ruoming was shocked, and so was Uncle Yan. Lin Yi's slap landed on Zhou Ruoming's face again, completely ignoring Uncle Yan's punch. He didn't even try to dodge. Are you retarded? You found a sickly old man to deal with me. Retarded pills are delicious, but you can't eat too much of it. I've never seen someone as retarded as you. Lin Yi shook his head. Uncle Yan almost laughed out loud after the shock. Ignorance was bliss. He was an early-phase golden class master, and he was just a sickly old man in Lin Yi's eyes. It was a fact that he was sickly. His body hadn't been healthy since he was young, and he'd only been able to reach the early phase of golden class at most. There wasn't much progress, and that was why he'd volunteered to be the vanguard of his family's sept, coming to the mortal world to steal money to support his family's expenses. But that was only when compared to the other people in his family. This kid in front of him dared to call himself an old man. Uncle Yan's blood rushed to his head as he increased the strength of his fist, preparing to kill Lin Yi with one punch. But before his fist could reach Lin Yi, a crisp slap sounded. Uncle Yan stumbled and fell to the ground, 5 red marks on his face. You think you're something, don't you? You're an early-phase golden class master, so what? Don't you think it's embarrassing for an old man like you to bully 2 young people like us? With that, Lin Yi stomped on Uncle Yan's head, deforming the left side of the man's cheek. Even his teeth fell out. Lin Yi's words made Zhou Ruoming and Tang Yun sweat. They've heard of young people bullying old people, but they've never heard of old people bullying young people. However, Uncle Yan didn't think that there was anything wrong with Lin Yi's words. According to Tang Yun and Zhou Ruoming's understanding, it was only applicable in the common world, not in the Wulian world. In the martial arts world, the older one was, the more profound their skills were. If an old man bullied a young man, it would be criticized by others as bullying the young. However, was he bullying the weak? Uncle Yan was on the verge of tears. He had really misjudged him. Not only had this young man seen through his strength at a glance, but he had also beaten him up so effortlessly. He was an early-phase golden class master, but he was stepped on like a dead dog. He didn't even have a chance to fight back. According to this situation, the young man was at least a middle-phase golden class master, or even a late-phase golden class master. Uncle Yan, you. What are you doing? Don't worry, there's no one here, just kill him. Zhou Ruoming didn't understand the situation. He thought that Uncle Yan was pretending to be weak, pretending that he was bullied by Lin Yi, so that he could kill Lin Yi. Although that would achieve his goal, it didn't feel good no matter how he looked at it. It wasn't as satisfying as killing Lin Yi directly, so Zhou Ruoming reminded Uncle Yan anxiously. He couldn't be blamed for thinking that way. In his eyes and heart, early-phase golden class masters were like gods, a symbol of invincibility. He once heard from his father, Zhou Tiandi, that it took several armed policemen to barely control Uncle Yan. What did that mean? If it was one-on-one, Uncle Yan was invincible. Although Zhou Ruoming didn't know what early-phase golden class was like, he felt that it had to be stronger than Lin Yi. No matter how good Lin Yi was, he was just a normal person. How could he compare to a master of the martial arts world? Even if Lin Yi beat Heibao Bro to a pulp, Heibao Bro was just a gangster. No matter how strong he was, he wouldn't be stronger than a golden class master. That was why Zhou Ruoming could say something so stupid. Uncle Yan heard Zhou Ruoming's words and cried in his heart. Didn't you see the situation? Did you think I wanted to be stepped on? I had no choice but to be stepped on. The opponent's strength was obviously much higher than mine. I'm no match for him. Zhou Ruoming, how did you know I was here? Lin Yi didn't forget to ask Zhou Ruoming as he stepped on Uncle Yan. Lin Yi, don't be so arrogant. When Uncle Yan shows his power, you'll be dead. Zhou Ruoming, the idiot, still didn't see the situation clearly. He still thought that Uncle Yan could kill Lin Yi. You crashed my dad's car and broke my brother's arm. I brought Uncle Yen here to stop you. Oh. That idiot from before was your dad. Lin Yi realized. No wonder Zhou Ruoming knew where he was. So he was Zhou Tiandi's son, Zhou Ruoguang's brother. It was like the saying went, don't enter the same door if you're not a family. A family of idiots. Uncle Yen, what are you doing? Hurry up and kill this kid. Zhou Ruoming was confused when he saw that Uncle Yen hadn't exploded yet. Jiao Lao, there are too many people here. It's not easy to kill this old man. Is there a way to cripple him? Lin Yi asked Jiao Yazi in the Jade. Of course. Jiao Lao's voice sounded. People like him who reached golden class through immature training methods have all sorts of flaws. How can they compare to your art of dragon mastery? As long as they haven't reached the earth class, they will have a weak point. Once you break through their weak point, they'll basically be crippled unless they retrain their body and enter golden class through physical arts. Then where's his weak point? Lin Yi was surprised and happy after hearing Jiao Lao's words. This. I don't know, Jiao Yazi said. Lin Yi almost fell down. Even Jiao Yazi didn't know. But generally, the weak point of golden class is near the dantian, unless it's a very special physical practitioner. Jiao Yazi's next words gave Lin Yi hope again. Bang! Lin Yi's foot landed on Uncle Yan's dantian, and Uncle Yan let out a blood-curdling scream before fainting. His whole body was like a deflated balloon, and he slumped to the ground. Lin Yi knew that he had broken Uncle Yan's weak point and directly crippled him. The moment he kicked, Lin Yi could feel the true energy in Uncle Yan's body quickly leaking out until it disappeared. Just like what Jiao Lao said, Lin Yi could no longer feel Uncle Yan's strength. In his eyes, Uncle Yan was no different from an ordinary old man. Chapter 422. He's mute. A chill rose from the bottom of his feet to the top of his head. Zhou Ruoming looked at Lin Yi in horror. You. What are you doing? Don't come any closer. Paw. Another slap landed on Zhou Ruoming's face. This time, Lin Yi used more strength, and Zhou Ruoming's right tooth fell out, and the corner of his mouth cracked. You killed Uncle Yin. Zhou Ruoming found it unbelievable. An early phase golden class master was like a god. How could Lin Yi kill him with just a few kicks? How was this possible? No, I'm not like you, who dares to shout about killing me at the drop of a hat. I'm actually very timid. As Lin Yi spoke, he slapped Zhou Ruoming's face again. Zhou Ruoming's face was almost swollen like a pig's head. Misunderstanding. Boss Lin Yi, it was actually my dad who asked me to bring Uncle Yen to look for trouble with you. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just a messenger. Please don't look for trouble with me. Zhou Ruoming knew that he couldn't outrun Lin Yi. Running was equivalent to seeking his own death. He had no choice but to kneel on the ground. Boss Lin Yi, it really has nothing to do with me. That's not what I'm talking about. Lin Yi shook his head. I'm talking about your intentions towards Tang Yun. Lin Yi stepped on Ruoming's face, and Ruoming let out a cry of pain. Ha! I've already said that Tang Yun is my woman. You're still thinking about her. Do you want to die? Lin Yi felt that if he didn't teach Zhou Ruoming a lesson, he wouldn't know that there was such a thing as death in this world. Ah! Ruoming screamed as he held his head. Boss Lin, I won't do it again, I won't do it again. I've lost my mind, I won't do anything to Tang Yun anymore, please let me go, Lin Yi. Stop kicking. What if someone dies? Tang Yun was shocked by Lin Yi's craziness, but Lin Yi was doing this for her. Tang Yun felt sweet inside. As long as she was with Lin Yi, he would protect her no matter what happened. However, although Tang Yun hated Zhou Ruoming, she couldn't beat him to death. She didn't want Lin Yi to go to jail because of this. She quickly stopped Lin Yi. Ha, he won't die. He's far from death. At most, he'll become an idiot. But it'll save him medicine. He won't have to spend money on stupid pills every day. He'll just become an idiot, Lin Yi smiled. No. I don't want to become an idiot. Lin Yi boss, let me go. Zhou Ruoming was about to cry. He'd rather die than become an idiot. Scram, Lin Yi said faintly. Yes. I'll scram now. Zhou Ruoming didn't dare to get up and run. Who knew if Lin Yi would use this as an excuse? In order to make sure that Lin Yi couldn't find anything wrong with him, Zhou Ruoming really started rolling on the ground. Hee hee. Tang Yun couldn't help but laugh at Zhou Ruoming's behavior. She didn't approve of Lin Yi using violence, but she had to admit that today was very satisfying. She got her revenge. If it weren't for Lin Yi, she'd still have to endure Zhou Ruoming's teasing every day. Who knew if she'd fall into his trap one day? Lin Yi looked at Uncle Yen on the ground and took out his phone to call Ling Shan. Ling Shan had just sent Zhou Tiandi and Zhou Ruoguang to the traffic police station. They didn't seem to have committed any crimes, but it was just a traffic violation. Ling Shan didn't have the authority to do anything about it, so she handed them over. Her phone rang as soon as she got back to her office. She frowned when she saw the name Lin Yi. Did Lin Yi cause trouble again? Ling Shan didn't believe that Lin Yi could find a way to cure Bujia so quickly. The only possibility was that he was looking for her. She rubbed her throbbing temples and picked up the phone helplessly. Lin Yi, what's up? I got ambushed when I came out of the police station. I've subdued him already. Come and take him away, Lin Yi said. Wah. You got ambushed. Who? Ling Shan paused. Zhou Tiandi sent me, I think. Lin Yi said faintly, hurry up. Follow the road in front of the police station and you'll see me. With that, Lin Yi hung up, pissing Ling Shan off. Was he ordering her around? How dare you order me? Ling Shan was pissed, but she couldn't refuse. She got up and went downstairs, driving to find Lin Yi. Isn't that an old man? Did Zhou Tiandi send him? You didn't hit him with your car, did you? Ling Shan was very suspicious that Lin Yi had accidentally hit someone and blamed it on Tiandi, saying that the old man was one of Tiandi's men. He can stop you. Golden class early phase. Lin Yi shrugged. Can you be any more retarded? Golden class early phase. Ling Shan's mouth was wide open. She looked at the old man's face, and her face changed. A wanted criminal. The man in front of her was a wanted criminal. As the captain of the criminal police, Ling Shan would often look at pictures of wanted criminals. It didn't take long for her to recognize this old man in front of her. Yan Qiyuan, wanted for murder and robbery. He'd been wanted for more than 2 years, and now he was here. He's a wanted criminal, right? Lin Yi guessed from Ling Shan's expression. That's right. Ling Shan nodded, a flash of joy in her eyes. This Lin Yi was lucky enough to catch a wanted criminal. This Yan Qiyuan was indeed a golden class early phase, but from the looks of it, he'd been crippled by Lin Yi. He was about the same as Heibao. Lin Yi patted Qiyuan's body, waking him up. Qiyuan's face was still filled with pain and sorrow. He was a golden class early phase, and he'd been crippled just like that. How could there be such a powerful figure in the secular world now? Looking at Lin Yi's age, he was only 20, right? Crack. Ling Shan took out her handcuffs and cuffed Qiyuan. She didn't feel any danger, but Qiyuan was still a golden class early phase. Ling Shan didn't dare treat him lightly. "Alright, I'm leaving." Lin Yi saw that he had nothing else to do and prepared to leave with Tang Yun. "Wait, come back with me to make a statement." Ling Shan called out to Lin Yi. "Can't you just say you caught him yourself? It's not the first time something like this happened." Lin Yi, naturally, didn't want to go back with Ling Shan. But the criminal's statement. Ling Shan thought to herself. If she said she caught him, what if Qiyuan said something? Chapter 423. Chapter 423, What to Do, Ah. Ling Shan paused as she looked at Lin Yi, stunned. She was a golden class master herself, and had guessed that Lin Yi was a golden class master as well, but she'd never seen something like Lin Yi's miraculous skill before. 2 random pats and this guy turned into a mute. Uncle Yen didn't believe it as well, he'd never seen Lin Yi do something like this. Could it be acupuncture? That wasn't possible, he was a Wuling practitioner, and he'd never heard of anyone who knew how to use acupuncture. That was something that only existed in novels and dramas, it didn't exist in real life. He didn't believe Lin Yi's words, and was just about to say something to prove that he wasn't a mute when he realized that he couldn't speak. Ling Shan didn't know what to say as she looked at the Yen Qiyuan. It seemed like Lin Yi had really turned this guy into a mute. It was too scary. A few random pats and he turned into a mute. Oh, right, he can still write. Maybe I should turn him into an idiot. Lin Yi suddenly thought of that. Og. Yen Qiyuan shook his head furiously after hearing Lin Yi's words. Was this a joke? Turn himself into an idiot? What was the point of living then? He still had to pass the news to his family, and as for who'd caught him, he didn't have the heart to tell the police. He was going to die anyway, and talking about it was just a waste of breath. See, he said he wouldn't talk. Alright, that's all. I'm leaving. Lin Yi, naturally, didn't want to turn Yen Qiyuan into an idiot in front of Ling Shan. He shrugged and pulled Tang Yun into the car. Ling Shan looked at Lin Yi with a complicated gaze before getting into the police car with Qiyuan, heading back to the police station. Ling Shan brought Yen Qiyuan into the police station just in time to see Zhou Tiandi and his son walking out of the station after receiving their punishment. Tiandi looked at Yen Qiyuan, who Ling Shan was holding, and jumped in fright. A flash of shock and fear appeared in his eyes. How did Uncle Yen get captured by Ling Shan? Didn't he ask Zhou Ruoming to lead him to intercept Lin Yi? Why, Mr. Zhou, do you know this murderer and robber? Ling Shan looked at the shocked Tiandi. Naturally, she knew that Yen Qiyuan was Tiandi's doing, but Tiandi wouldn't admit to something like this without evidence. No. I don't know him. Tiandi shook his head and dragged Zhou Ruoguang away. He didn't dare to have anything to do with a murderer, even though they were clearly related. Ling Shan smiled coldly as she watched Tiandi and Zhou Ruoguang leave. She turned around and bumped into Lu Wangli. Captain Song, you arrested someone. He's so old, what did he do? Wangli asked as he looked at the criminal in Ling Shan's hands. Yen Qiyuan, he's a fugitive for robbery and murder. Ling Shan said faintly to Lu Wangli. I'll leave him to you. Captain Song, you brought Yen Qiyuan back. Wang Li's eyes were wide as he looked at Ling Shan in awe. Ling Shan had been solving many big cases recently, and her position in the police and criminal police had skyrocketed. She was now a qualified successor to Huaijuan. The voices that said that Ling Shan only knew how to charge and not solve cases were all gone now. It seemed that everyone approved of Ling Shan. Lu Wangli didn't like it when his superior was being talked about, and now they were all praising him. Lu Wangli was amazing, and now that Ling Shan had brought back a fugitive, Lu Wangli felt even more proud. Ling Shan, on the other hand, felt conflicted. Just what was her relationship with Lin Yi? Was it a partnership or an enemy? She really couldn't tell. Tiandi and Zhou Ruoguang went back to the car, and Tiandi clutched his chest in shock. Ruoguang, am I seeing things? Isn't that Uncle Yen? It's Uncle Yen. Zhou Ruoguang nodded. How did Ling Shan get him? Isn't he an early phase golden class? I don't know, let's call Ruoming first. Tiandi was desperate to find out the truth. Hello. Ruoming. What happened to you? How did the police get Uncle Yen? Tiandi called Zhou Ruoming, firing off a barrage of questions before Zhou Ruoming could say anything. Dad, it's big. Zhou Ruoming was scared out of his wits as well, hiding at home. He didn't even dare go to school. That kid's called Lin Yi, he's from our school. He's a master. He knocked Uncle Yen out with one slap, and knocked him out with a few kicks. What? That guy's that strong. Tiandi was shocked when he heard Zhou Ruoming's words. What shocked him the most was that Zhou Ruoming knew Lin Yi. He's the tyrant of our school, no one dares mess with him now. Zhou Ruoming sounded like he was on the verge of tears. He didn't like me from the start, and I brought Uncle Yen to cause trouble for him today. You've really gotten me killed. Dad, I don't even dare go to school anymore. Tiandi's face paled instantly. He knew how strong Uncle Yen was, and how strong did someone have to be to take him down so easily. How did he end up messing with someone like that? Tiandi was scared just thinking about it. If Lin Yi really wanted to kill him, it'd be as easy as killing an ant. He'd even had to fight over a hospital room with him last time. He couldn't even imagine the consequences. Tiandi wasn't the one with the worst expression on his face, but Zhou Ruoguang. He'd heard what Tiandi said through the phone, and he was even more scared than Tiandi. Dad, I told you we couldn't mess with this guy, and you just had to do it. Now we're done for. He can kill us like a toy. What are we going to do in the future? You even told me to go teach him a lesson last time. It's a good thing I didn't go, or you'd be burning Joss paper for me right now. Alright, Ruoguang, don't be scared. Lin Yi is strong, but he didn't do anything to us, did he? He kept Uncle Yen and let Ruoming go, which means he doesn't want to bother with normal people like us. We just don't mess with him in the future, and find a way to give him a red envelope. We'll have a feast to apologize to him. I don't think he'll hold it against us, will he? Tiandi was a smart man, and he immediately analyzed the situation. I guess that's the only way. Zhou Ruoguang nodded. I was possessed last time, and I even wanted to flirt with the girl next to him. Man, I'm scared just thinking about it. Yeah, I remember what he looks like this time, and I even took a picture of it and saved it in my phone. We'll avoid him when we see him in the future, and if we can't avoid him, we'll be more respectful. They say you don't hit someone who's smiling at you, so we'll just suck up to him a little. He's a master, I don't think he'll hold it against us, right? Chapter 424. Xiao Xiao wants revenge. Xiao Xiao hadn't thought of a way to deal with Lin Yi yet, but she was a little embarrassed to face Lin Yi. She'd been drenched by him at noon, and Xiao Xiao was quite embarrassed. She'd never been in such an awkward situation in her life, and now she'd fallen into Lin Yi's hands. What surprised Xiao Xiao was that she didn't see Lin Yi when she returned to the classroom. She let out a breath of relief. Hey, pretty girl, you know my boss. Kong Xiaobo turned around, curious about Xiao Xiao's identity. It was obvious that she was here for Lin Yi, but he didn't want to ask Lin Yi. Now that Lin Yi wasn't in the classroom, he could ask Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi's your boss. Xiao Xiao wanted to find someone familiar with Lin Yi to get to know Lin Yi better. Yeah, I'm his follower. Kong Xiaobo said proudly, as if being Lin Yi's follower was something to be proud of. Oh. Xiao Xiao rolled her eyes and said to Kong Xiaobo, I'll tell you something in secret. Don't tell anyone, including your boss, Lin Yi. Xiaobo hesitated. He wanted to hear what Xiao Xiao was talking about, but he didn't want to hide it from Lin Yi. It wasn't a good idea. I won't tell you if you don't agree. Xiao Xiao saw Kong Xiaobo's hesitation and threw out a more important chip. It's about me coming to find your boss. As expected, Kong Xiaobo was interested, scratching his ears and cheeks as he hesitated. Then tell me. I won't tell my boss. Please don't tell me, or I'll be really embarrassed. Xiao Xiao looked at Kong Xiaobo, putting on a pitiful look. Don't worry, I'm a man of my word. I promise I won't tell the boss. Kong Xiaobo patted his chest and promised. But Kong Xiaobo wasn't an idiot. He promised not to tell Lin Yi, but he didn't promise not to tell Tang Yun. He'd just tell Tang Yun and Tang Yun would tell Lin Yi, and it wouldn't have anything to do with him. Actually, I like Lin Yi. I transferred here because of him. Xiao Xiao whispered to Kong Xiaobo, blushing. Ha! Kong Xiaobo's eyes widened. You have a crush on my boss. Xiao Xiao nodded. Don't tell anyone. Don't worry, I promised. Kong Xiaobo was in a difficult position now. This wasn't something he could tell Tang Yun, it'd be gossip. Hey, can you tell me about Lin Yi? I want to know more about him. As far as Xiao Xiao was concerned, Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang's information were all indirect. Only someone like Kong Xiaobo, who interacted with Lin Yi all the time, could be trusted. But, my boss has a girlfriend already. Your chances are really slim. Kong Xiaobo sighed. His boss was really lucky. All the girls who liked him were so pretty. It's okay, I don't care. I don't care about the title, I just want to be by his side quietly. I won't fight for anything. Xiao Xiao shook her head and said pitifully. Kong Xiaobo froze. There were girls like this in this day and age. Xiao Xiao wasn't bad at all. She could get any boyfriend she wanted, but she didn't care about the status and wanted to be with Lin Yi. His boss was outstanding, but Xiaobo was still very envious. He felt pity for Xiao Xiao. So what you're saying is that you want to be by his side quietly, only giving and not taking? Xiao Xiao nodded. Boss is here. We'll talk next time. Kong Xiaobo raised his head to see Lin Yi enter the classroom. He quickly shut his mouth. Lin Yi drove Tang Yun back to school. There wasn't any traffic on the way, but they were still a little late, only entering the school after the first afternoon class. What surprised him in the afternoon class was that Xiao Xiao, who'd changed her clothes, seemed to have forgotten about what happened in the washroom at lunchtime. She didn't bother him at all, didn't even bring it up. What surprised Lin Yi even more was that the entire afternoon was quiet. Xiao Xiao didn't say anything to him. What surprised Lin Yi was that Kong Xiaobo was looking at him in a weird way. It wasn't that Xiao Xiao didn't want to say anything, but she hadn't found a way to deal with Lin Yi yet. She didn't want to let Lin Yi go so easily. Getting drenched in Lin Yi's piss was the biggest humiliation she'd ever experienced in her life. She'd never been so humiliated. But Xiao Xiao couldn't find a way to teach Lin Yi a lesson right now. On one hand, she wanted Lin Yi to teach her how to drive, so she couldn't offend Lin Yi too much. For example, that stupid suggestion from Zhou Ruoming was something she couldn't accept. If she did anything to Tang Yun, then Lin Yi would become her mortal enemy, and that would ruin her original goal. It would be best if she could teach Lin Yi a lesson, but it wouldn't be too much of a loss. Just a little humiliation, just like how she did in the afternoon. When school was about to end, the homeroom teacher Lu came to the classroom and walked up to the podium. Everyone, quiet down, I have something to say. Tomorrow, our graduating class is going to have a tree planting event. There's an empty space behind the school, and it's where all the graduating students plant trees. We're about to graduate, and we'll be going our separate ways. In order to leave a memory for our old school, everyone can plant trees on this empty space. A few years later, when you return to your old school, it'll have a special meaning. Teacher Lu's words drew a round of applause from all the students present. The dull and boring life of a senior high student was filled with repetitive reading, questions, and tests. Now that there was such an activity, everyone naturally raised their hands to welcome it. There's no limit to the types of saplings. They're sold at the flower, bird, and fish market not far from the school. You can get them for a few kwai to a few hundred, depending on your financial ability. If you're really poor, you can donate a few kwai sapling from the class allowance, Teacher Lu said. Although there weren't any poor students in his class, he still had to say it according to tradition. Everyone expressed their support. Before graduation, most students wanted to leave a memory for their old school. After all, they were about to leave. Returning to their old school after a few years and seeing the sapling they planted with their own hands grow up was a different feeling. Chapter 425. Chapter 425, Shark Hunting Opportunity. What's so good about planting trees? Pinliang didn't quite understand what Xiaofu was getting at. Liang bro, think about it. You can make a tree and decorate it with Mingyao's name. Mingya'll definitely like it when she sees it. All girls like these. Gao Xiaofu said, look at the return of the Condor heroes. On Guoxiang's birthday, Yang Guo gave her a firework. As a result, she was so happy that she even pledged her life to him. Gave herself to him. Why did I think Guoxiang became a nun? Pinliang blinked. Og, then she became a nun. I don't remember, maybe I was looking at Dejinshi. Xiaofu said, a little embarrassed. I think that being a nun is for love. Anyway, it'll definitely work. You're saying that I should light a firework too? Pinliang asked. Yeah, Liang bro, haven't you heard of the Flare Silver Flower Nightless Club? We'll give Meng Yao a Flare Silver Flower Nightless Club. Xiaofu said. Alright, it's settled then. I'll go buy a sapling. Pinliang thought that it was a good idea. It was much easier than writing a letter of blood. At least he wouldn't have to hurt himself with the Flare Silver Flower Nightless Club. This sapling needs to be special, too. It can't be the same as the others. If it's the same, then we won't be able to show how special we are. Xiaofu said. Alright, I'll do some research and get an imported sapling. Pinliang was very excited. Xiaofu had finally come up with a good idea. Liang bro, should we tell Xiao Lil sis about this? She's the big sis of our class now, after all. We should at least tell her about this big thing we're doing, right? Xiaofu reminded. That's right, we should tell her about this in case Xiao Lil sis has some plans against Lin Yi. It'd be bad if there were any conflicts. After school, Pinliang invited Xiao to a corner of the school field, preparing to tell her about what Xiaofu had told him. Xiao patiently listened to Xiaofu's explanation. She wasn't interested in whether or not Pinliang was going after Meng Yao. Her target was Lin Yi. That's it. What does that have to do with me? Xiao frowned. I thought you guys thought of a way to humiliate Lin Yi. Humiliating Lin Yi. Little sister Xiao, didn't you want to teach him a lesson? Why are you humiliating him again? Pinliang paused. He'd thought that Xiao and Lin Yi had some sort of deep grudge, but it didn't seem like it. Why do you care what I want to do? Xiao humphed. I've embarrassed myself to death today, so I'm going to embarrass him. If that's the case, I have an idea. Gao Xiaofu's eyes lit up. What plan? Xiao Xiao looked at this useless advisor, not sure what he could say. Aren't we going to create a fireworks silver flower never sleeps? There'll be fireworks and firecrackers, and we'll give you a string of firecrackers, and you secretly hang them on Lin Yi's butt. Light it up, and Lin Yi's butt. Heh, he'll be as humiliated as you can imagine. Xiaofu wasn't good at other things, but he could come up with some dirty tricks. Oh. Xiao Xiao started thinking about the feasibility of this plan. If done correctly, it was a good idea. Secretly hang the firecrackers on Lin Yi's back without him noticing, and when Pinliang lit up the fireworks, they'd secretly light the firecrackers on Lin Yi's back, pretending that it was an accident. Even if Lin Yi wanted revenge, he wouldn't be able to find any evidence, would he? Little sister Xiao Xiao, I think Xiaofu's idea isn't bad. Pinliang, naturally, hated Lin Yi to the bone, and so he encouraged Xiao Xiao to do it the moment he heard that it could humiliate Lin Yi. Well, I'll think about it. Xiao Xiao wasn't as confident as Pinliang was. She needed to study the possibilities of this plan. Yao Yao, are we going to plant trees tomorrow? Yushu was looking forward to this event. In fact, she was looking forward to anything new and interesting. Of course we're going. A few years later, when we've all graduated, gotten married, and had kids, we'll bring them to visit our alma mater. We'll tell them that this is where their mom went to. It should be very educational. Meng Yao nodded seriously. Oh, then will our kids have the same dad? Yushu asked. Shoo. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. She really wanted to crack open her best friend's skull and see what was inside. How could Yushu turn something as serious as this into a farce just like that? Yushu blinked. Open your mouth, Meng Yao ordered. No, never. Yushu shook her head. Why? Meng Yao paused. Yushu had always been an obedient girl. You pulled my tongue out, it hurts. Yushu said. You know it hurts and you're still talking nonsense. Meng Yao humphed. Then I won't talk about it next time, Yushu promised. You always say next time, next time, next time. How many times will there be next time? Meng Yao didn't believe Yushu at all. Yao Yao, the original meaning of this sentence is tomorrow after tomorrow. How many times will there be tomorrow? Yushu said. Oh, then tomorrow it is. It's more or less the same, who cares about tomorrow? Shoo, you're changing the topic again. Meng Yao was speechless. Yushu had almost gotten away with it again. Hee. Yushu stuck her tongue out. Let's not talk about it for so long. We haven't gotten the saplings yet. Let's go buy some. All right. Meng Yao forgave Yushu for now. She had to learn to be tolerant with a best friend like this. Take a step back. Otherwise, she'd die of anger 10 times a day. Go get Lin Yi and tell him to drive with us. We can't fit the saplings in the car. Okay. Shield bro. Shield bro. Yushu called Lin Yi at the top of her lungs. Lin Yi had gone back to her room after seeing Yushu and Meng Yao bickering. She was already used to the two's behavior, so she wasn't surprised at all. Lin Yi heard Yushu's call and walked out of the room. What is it? Shield bro, I want to eat shark meat again. Yushu said. Meng Yao almost fell off the sofa. Didn't she ask him to go buy saplings? Why was the shark meat involved again? Oh, they don't sell it on the market. Why don't you go catch one yourself? Lin Yi was speechless. Shark meat wasn't that tasty. Why did this Miss Chen like it? Chapter 426. Chapter 426, Tree Shopping Shoo. Aren't we going out to buy saplings? Meng Yao said through gritted teeth, holding back the urge to faint. Right. Then let's buy saplings first. Yushu nodded. Lin Yi, we're going out to buy saplings, and the car's pretty big. Should we go in your car? Meng Yao didn't let Yushu do it for her this time. She didn't really want to talk to Lin Yi, but she didn't know what to say after Lin Yi got into trouble with Xiao Xiao today. She was a little embarrassed. She was the one who'd caused all this trouble, and yet she'd asked Shu to text Lin Yi and ask if he was messing around. All right. Lin Yi nodded. How could he say no to the miss? Lin Yi asked. Are we leaving now? Yeah, we're leaving now. Meng Yao stood up and pulled Yushu along, getting ready to leave with Lin Yi. It was the first time the Miss and Miss Chen had been in Lin Yi's broken car, and they couldn't help but gasp at how broken it was. Shield bro, this car of yours, it can still be driven. Yushu couldn't understand how a car like this could still move, and it was moving pretty fast too. You know now whether it can drive or not, right? Lin Yi smiled. A follower like me would be lucky to have a broken car to drive. Oh, I'll give you my car then. I don't like driving anyway. Yushu said seriously. Meng Yao felt a little embarrassed. Lin Yi was her follower, and he didn't even have a car. Who knew what junkyard he'd gotten it from? She coughed. Lin Yi, I'll tell Faubert to buy you a business car tomorrow. Aw. It's fine, I'm pretty used to it. Lin Yi wasn't expecting the miss to be this sensitive. He just said it casually, and she wanted to buy him a car. Oh. Meng Yao, naturally, wouldn't try to convince Lin Yi otherwise. That Xiao Xiao didn't do anything to you today, did she? Man, why not? She took a photo of me going to the toilet to blackmail me, but I thought it was Zhong Pingliang, so I pissed her all over. That's a big grudge. Lin Yi didn't try to hide it. This was all because of him going out with the miss, so Meng Yao couldn't blame it on him if anything happened to Xiao Xiao in the future. Aw. You thought she was Zhong Pingliang and pissed her all? Meng Yao's eyes widened. She and Shu had gone to check the toilet when it rained last time, and the thought of Pingliang's pitiful face was hilarious. But how embarrassing would it be if it were a girl? Meng Yao's eyes were wide open. She'd gone to the toilet with Shu last time when it rained, and thinking about Zhong Pingliang's pitiful state was quite funny. But how embarrassing would it be if it were a girl? Meng Yao could imagine that if it were her, she'd probably want to die. There was no way Xiao Xiao would just let it go. Lin Yi didn't mind. Let her be. She'll leave when she's tired of revenge. She's just a little girl. Lin Yi didn't really care. Let her be, she'll leave when she's tired of revenge. She's just a little girl. I'm really sorry, I didn't think she'd go after you. Meng Yao said apologetically. Maybe I'll talk to her tomorrow, tell her that it wasn't your fault. Meng Yao's face was a little red as she humphed. I'm a person who knows what's good and bad for me. Don't think that just because I spoke up for you, it means that I'll treat you well. I'm telling you, I actually still really hate you. Meng Yao blurted out in a panic, but regretted it immediately after. Did she really still hate Lin Yi? It didn't seem like it anymore, huh? Lin Yi smiled. I know, but Xiao Xiao can't do anything to me. Don't go after her, in case the class finds out about our relationship. Meng Yao gritted her teeth at Lin Yi. In case the class finds out about our relationship. So what if they find out? What's there to be afraid of if I'm not even scared? What's the meaning of this? But Meng Yao understood that Lin Yi was saying this because he didn't want to put her in a difficult position, not because of himself. But Meng Yao was still angry. Any other boy would be more than happy to have a relationship with her, but why didn't this Lin Yi realize that at all? Could it be that he was so weak? Meng Yao didn't say anything, and the atmosphere in the car got a little heavy. Luckily, Yushu was there. "Shield bro, do you think there'd be sharks in the flower bird fish market?" Meng Yao really wanted to slap Yushu to death. "Shu, do you think people would buy a shark to raise at home? Aren't they afraid of getting eaten by sharks?" "There are." Yushu nodded. "For example, suicidal people." "Alright, you win." Meng Yao slapped her forehead. Lin Yi parked the car in front of the fish market and brought Meng Yao and Yushu inside. "Follow closely, it's a messy place. There might be pickpockets." "Oh." Yushu quickened her steps before slowing down again. "I didn't bring any money." "Shu, are you serious? You're not joking." Meng Yao's face changed upon hearing Yushu's words. "No, Yao Yao, you know that I like to put my wallet in my bag." Yushu said. "Look at my dress, where's my wallet?" "I didn't bring any either." Meng Yao frowned. "Lin Yi, did you bring any money?" "Ah, I did." Lin Yi said to himself. No wonder Faubert gave him a credit card. These two girls didn't bring any money when they went out. "Then I'll lend it to you." Meng Yao breathed out in relief. It'd be a wasted trip if Lin Yi didn't bring any money. "Wow, Yao Yao, look, there really are saplings for sale here, there's so many different types." Yushu was dazzled as she walked in. "Yao Yao, what should we plant tomorrow?" Meng Yao shook her head. She wasn't an expert in plants, so she didn't know what to buy. "Yao Yao, look over there. That tree looks special. Why does it need an drip?" Yushu pointed at a few saplings not far away. "I don't know, maybe it's sick." Meng Yao said. "Ah, it's nutrient fluids. Some imported saplings need to be injected with nutrient fluids because of the difference in environment, or they won't survive." Lin Yi explained with a smile. "Some high-class parks have these kinds of trees. This one looks interesting. Yao Yao, maybe we should buy this." Yushu found the tree quite interesting. Chapter 427. Chapter 427, Phone Robbery. "You're right, I can't do it every day," Yushu said as she stuck her tongue out. "Can't you stop doing stupid things like that?" Meng Yao said helplessly. "Alright. Yao Yao, what kind of tree do you think we should buy?" Yushu asked timidly as she shrunk her head back. "Something a little prettier, something a little more normal." Meng Yao didn't understand stuff like that. "How about a fruit tree?" "Ah, why did you bump into me?" A young man bumped into Meng Yao, causing her to stumble and almost fall to the ground. The young man quickly apologized. "I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose, I was in a hurry to move the goods." "Oh, it's nothing." Meng Yao frowned, deciding not to argue with the guy since he said it wasn't intentional. "Wait." The guy was about to leave when Lin Yi pulled him back. "Whoa. What are you doing?" The guy's eyes flashed with wariness, and Meng Yao looked at Lin Yi, not quite sure what was going on. She'd already let it go, so why was Lin Yi holding a grudge now? "Take out your phone," Lin Yi said faintly. "Phone? What phone?" The guy was clearly panicking, but he started yelling all of a sudden. "It's a robbery, someone's trying to steal my phone. Someone come quickly." The guy's yelling attracted the attention of the people around them, and they all came over to watch the commotion. "What's going on?" A couple of security guards walked over to the guy. "He's trying to rob me, and he asked for my phone," the guy said innocently. Yeah, I can prove it. This guy doesn't know what's right or wrong, he's asking for his phone. Someone in the crowd interrupted all of a sudden. Oh. If that's the case, follow me to the security room then. The leader of the security guards said as he looked at Lin Yi, his eyes lingering on Meng Yao and Yushu behind him, a perverted look in his eyes. Lin Yi, what's going on? Meng Yao was getting a little pissed off. They were here to buy saplings, what was Lin Yi doing? Stopping a stranger and asking for his phone. Your phone was stolen by him. Lin Yi shrugged and looked at Mississippi, aw. My phone. Meng Yao's face changed as she touched her pocket. The phone that was originally in his pocket had disappeared. You mean, he stole my phone? Yes, why else would I stop him? Lin Yi nodded. Hey, don't fucking slander me. Who took your phone? The young man puffed out his chest and shouted confidently, if you say that I took your phone, then why don't you take a look? You turned off your phone long ago. Lin Yi glanced at him and said faintly. Lin Yi clearly saw through his little cleverness. Alright, that's enough. Follow me to the security room, and we'll be able to tell who's right and who's wrong when we get there. The captain evidently didn't want Lin Yi to say anything more as he pushed him away. Lin Yi's eyes narrowed as he guessed what was going on. This security captain was in cahoots with the thief. You two wait for me in the car. Never mind, stay with me. Lin Yi wanted to let Meng Yao and Yushu wait in the car first, but thinking of the perverted look in the security captain's eyes, Lin Yi didn't feel at ease. It was better to let them stay with him. Zhou Ruoming only returned to school when it was almost time for school to end. He asked a few of his lackeys and was relieved to hear that Lin Yi didn't look for him or ask about him. It seemed like Lin Yi couldn't be bothered with him anymore. At first, Zhou Ruoming thought that Lin Yi didn't kill him because he didn't want to fall out with him, but today, he truly understood that Lin Yi didn't care about him at all. If he wanted to kill him, he would have done it a long time ago. Just like Uncle Yen today. So what if he was a golden class master? Didn't he still get stepped on by Lin Yi? As long as he understood this, Zhou Ruoming wasn't afraid anymore. As long as he didn't defend Lin Yi in the future, there shouldn't be a problem. Ming bro, are we going to join the tree planting tomorrow? It was Zhou Ruoming's number one lackey, Yunlingxi. Of course, of course. Zhou Ruoming was very proud when he heard about tree planting. Look at the forest behind the school. There were at least 3 or 4 trees planted by Zhou Ruoming. 1 tree a year. He'd been in high school for 3 or 4 years now. Everyone else only had 1 tree, but Zhou Ruoming had several. Who could compete with him? Who could compete with him? Every time he planted a tree, Zhou Ruoming would be especially proud. As they spoke, Zhou Ruoming's phone rang again. It was his father, Zhou Tiandi. Tiandi was getting more and more scared the more he thought about it. He discussed it with Zhou Ruoguang and comforted himself for a while, but the more he thought about it, the more he felt uneasy. And so, he decided to ask his youngest son, Zhou Ruoming, about what happened back then. He wanted to know what Lin Yi meant. It was easy to invite a god in, but hard to send him away. Offending a god like Lin Yi wasn't going to end well. Where are you right now? Tiandi asked. Dad, I'm at school. School just ended. What's up? Zhou Ruoming asked. Come to my company, I have something to ask you. I'll pick you up at school right now. Tiandi said. He didn't send a car to pick Zhou Ruoming up every day in order to make him study hard. He didn't think that this would give Zhou Ruoming even more freedom. No one would see him do bad things, and that made him even more reckless. I'm going to the flower bird fish market at home. Our school is starting to plant trees again tomorrow. I'll go look for a sapling. Zhou Ruoming said. Then wait for me at school. I'll be right there. Tiandi said. About 10 minutes later, Tiandi drove the BMW that Lin Yi had destroyed to the school. The appearance of the car annoyed Tiandi, but pissing off Lin Yi made him even more annoyed. Zhou Ruoming got in the car, and Tiandi asked impatiently, "You know Lin Yi?" "Of course I do. He slapped me a couple of times at school, he's my biggest enemy." Zhou Ruoming nodded. "I had my eyes on his girl, but who knew he was that strong?" Tiandi almost rolled his eyes at that. His whole family was Lin Yi's enemy, wasn't it? Tiandi felt the urge to cry. Chapter 428. Chapter 428, catching a couple of thieves. It was also because of this that Tiandi had developed a temper. His son, Zhou Ruoguang, wouldn't be this cocky otherwise, even if he was the leader of the North District's gangsters. But today, he'd run into an iron plate like Lin Yi. His biggest support wasn't working. He's not just a match for him. Uncle Yen didn't even get to do anything, and Lin Yi sent him flying with one slap. That's an instant kill. Zhou Ruoming was terrified just thinking about it. It seemed that Lin Yi hadn't used his full strength when he'd slapped him, otherwise Uncle Yen would have been sent flying and his own head would have been gone as well. Instant kill. Tiandi's lips twitched. He thought that Uncle Yen had been defeated after he fought Lin Yi, but now it seemed that Lin Yi was far stronger than Faubert. "Ruoming, do you think we should buy some gifts and go visit Lin Yi and apologize?" Tiandi asked after some thought. "That. I don't know, but I don't think that's possible right now." Zhou Ruoming shook his head. "Lin Yi's pissed right now, wouldn't it be suicide if we went? We'll go apologize after things calm down a bit. That should be fine, right?" "That's true." Tiandi nodded. "I'll see if I can use my connections to visit Uncle Yen and get a feel for Lin Yi's true strength." "That works. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you'll win every battle." Zhou Ruoming made up an idiom. "Win every battle, my ass. Even if you know how strong he is, we won't be able to win. Unless we know someone stronger." Tiandi cursed. "Just us. Don't even think about it for the rest of our lives." "Man. I guess that's the only way." Aside from the fear, Zhou Ruoming wasn't willing to give up. Being bullied and having to endure it made him very uncomfortable. Tiandi parked the car in front of the market and got out with Zhou Ruoming. This market was opened by Zhou Tiandi, and with Zhou Ruoguang's men watching over the place, there wouldn't be any problems. The yearly rent alone was tens of millions, and it was a profitable business. "Motherfucker, who parked their broken car in my exclusive parking space?" Tiandi cursed with a frown. There weren't any signs of parking spaces in front of the entrance, but they'd still take up space when there were a lot of cars. However, there weren't many cars today, and this spot was occupied. Naturally, Tiandi wasn't happy about it. This was his exclusive parking spot every time he came here. It's just a broken piece of bread. Get someone to ask which business owner used this cart to transport goods. It needs to be cleaned up, right? Tell Ruoguang to find them some money tomorrow. Tiandi was pissed, so he vented his anger elsewhere. "Ha!" Zhou Ruoming got off the car and looked in the direction of his father's scolding. He almost stumbled and fell to the ground. He recognized that Mini wasn't that Lin Yi's car. "Dad, stop, please stop, look at the license plate." Zhou Ruoming quickly stopped his father from cursing, afraid that Lin Yi would hear him. "What's wrong with the license plate? What's so nice about a license plate?" Tiandi didn't think much of it as he walked into the market with his big belly. "It's Lin Yi's car," Zhou Ruoming said. "Lin Yi's here at the market." "What?" Tiandi jumped in fright upon hearing that it was Lin Yi's car. Thank goodness he hadn't asked the security guards to tow the car away, otherwise the consequences would have been unimaginable. Tiandi broke out in a cold sweat as he turned to leave. Ruoming, let's go, let's not stay here, so Ruoming hesitated. He hadn't gotten his sapling yet, and it wasn't a coincidence that he'd run into Lin Yi, was it? Let's go to the office and come out after Lin Yi leaves. That works too. Tiandi nodded and walked into the market with Zhou Ruoming. The security guard at the entrance saw Tiandi and called out loudly. Mr. Zhou. Don't make a sound. Don't shout. Tiandi was about to explode. What was he shouting for? What if Lin Yi heard him? The security guard paused, not understanding what was going on. Could it be that Tiandi had brought some people with him to visit the market incognito? To check on the situation in the market. Thinking of this, the security guard felt that it was very possible, so he quickly nodded. Okay. I won't say any more. Tiandi and Zhou Ruoming slipped into the manager's office like ghosts. The manager of the market, Xia Fenpian, had just received a report from his security captain, saying that they'd caught a rich guy and two pretty girls. They'd investigated their backgrounds, and all they did was drive an old van. They couldn't be powerful people. And so Fenpian prepared to go down and take advantage of them. Stealing a phone. So he'd just take off his clothes and search them. Fenpian was more than willing to do that. Of course, he didn't dare do anything more than that, because he was afraid that something would go wrong. Searching a thief might be a bit overboard, but it wouldn't cause too much trouble. Fenpian was just getting excited when he raised his head to see Tiandi and Zhou Ruoming barging in. He jumped. Did they know what he'd done? But, according to Fenpian's understanding, Zhou Tiandi wasn't a good person either. He was a troublemaker for the young girls in the company, and this was what they meant when they said that a crooked stick would have a crooked shadow. Tiandi's family, Zhou Ruoguang and Zhou Ruoming, as well as his underlings, weren't good people. Fenpian was only acting so recklessly because of Zhou Ruoguang's indulgence. He was originally a gangster in the North District, and because Zhou Ruoguang thought highly of him, he became the manager of the market. Fenpian wasn't afraid anymore when he remembered that Tiandi was the same type of person. Mr. Zhou, you're here. I have something good I wanted Guang Bro to tell you. What is it? Tiandi paused. He wasn't feeling too good, and it'd make him feel better if he could rush it. The security department caught a couple of thieves, and there were some pretty girls among them. Mr. Zhou, do you want to search them? Fenpian said lecherously. Oh. Did you get a background check? Tiandi paused and asked. This was his hobby, after all. If there really was no problem, then he'd use the thieves to vent his anger. No background, they came in a broken van that looked like it came from a junkyard. There's no way they have any background. Fenpian said. Chapter 429. Becoming an idiot, it's just a couple of thieves, what's wrong? Fenpian paused, not understanding why Tiandi was acting like this. A couple of thieves. A man and a woman. Zhou Ruoming was surprised as well. A man and two women. Fenpian said. A man and two women. Zhou Ruoming paused and looked at Tiandi, both sighing in relief. A man and two women, that should be fine. If it's Lin Yi, he should be with Tang Yun, not a man and two women. That scared the hell out of me. Tiandi patted his chest. I've been scared to the point of going crazy. That's right, I've been so paranoid all day. Zhou Ruoming was suddenly interested in the pretty girls Fenpian was talking about, but he didn't dare say it out loud in front of his father. He could only look at Tiandi with a twinkle in his eyes. Come, let's go together. Tiandi, naturally, knew what kind of person his son was. He was as lecherous as he was, and so Tiandi decided to go together with his son. Heh, let's go check it out then. Heartwarming was overjoyed, but he put on a fearful expression. Fenthian thought to himself that he'd lost a great opportunity to get close to Lin Yi, but that wasn't a big deal. He could use this opportunity to please the boss and the young master. Pretty girls weren't hard to find, after all, and he could find a lot of them with money. Wouldn't his money be rolling in if he treated the father and son well? Lin Yi followed the security captain to the security room because he didn't want to make a move in the market. There were too many people there, and Lin Yi wouldn't be able to use his powers. These guys had no choice but to resign themselves to fate in the security room. Bang! The security captain locked the door as soon as they entered the security room, pointing at Lin Yi like a brute. You guys, tell me, how did you steal this? Otherwise, I'll send you to the police station. It won't be as simple as it is now. Ha, you're with him. Lin Yi didn't think much of the barbarian's attitude as he looked at the captain. What are you talking about? He's the victim, of course we have to uphold justice for him. The captain's face changed, but he still tried to argue. Ha, uphold justice. You think you're Ultraman or the leader of Wulin? Lin Yi smiled. Just tell me, what do you want? Meng Yao and Yushu, by now, understood that the security captain was in cahoots with the thief. But with Lin Yi there, they weren't afraid of anything. Meng Yao and Yushu had been through life and death situations with Lin Yi before, after all. This bit of danger was nothing compared to bank robbers and sharks. The two were even a little excited. They wanted to see it. Lin. Don't even think about getting out after entering this door. Since you're not being honest, we'll beat you up first. The captain waved his hand at the other guards. Bring the girls into the room. Chairman Xia will search them later. This kid is not being honest, so beat him up first. Yes. Several security guards rubbed their fists and nodded in agreement. Isn't it against the law to beat people up here? Lin Yi looked at the captain. In here, I'm the law. The captain pointed at Lin Yi arrogantly. I'm not afraid to tell you that there are no cameras here. If you go out, no one will be able to prove that you were beaten up by us. We can just say that you fell down yourself. Ah. I see. That's what I was thinking. Lin Yi nodded with a smile. What do you mean? Are you stupid? The captain blinked, not understanding what Lin Yi meant. I'm not stupid, but you're about to be. Lin Yi said as he patted the captain's head. What the hell are you talking about? Hee. Ha. Ho ho. The captain's eyes went blank all of a sudden as saliva dripped down from the corner of his mouth. He started laughing hysterically as he tried to catch the thief. 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 Shield bro, is he really stupid? Yushu cried out excitedly at the sight of the security captain turning into an idiot. This is fun, this is so fun. Shield bro, turn this guy into an idiot too. With that, Yushu pointed at the thief. Aw. Don't. The thief had seen Lin Yi's magic before, and he was scared out of his wits. He had never seen someone turn a person into an idiot with just 2 pats. He was a monster from the legends. This kid knows sorcery. Catch him. The other guards were scared as well, who had ever seen someone turn a person into an idiot with just a few moves. But, while there were people shouting for Lin Yi, no one dared to step forward. They were all afraid of becoming Lin Yi's next target. Not only did no one step forward, but they were also backing away. Plop. The thief dropped to his knees when he saw Lin Yi walking over. Bro, master, ancestor, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have stolen the phone, I'll return it to you now, With that, the thief took out Ming Yao's phone and placed it on the ground, crying with snot and tears all over his face. "I'm just a small fry up front. Guang Bro told us to cooperate and steal things, to cheat the customers." Lin Yi picked up the phone and handed it back to Meng Yao before the tears and snot dripped down. He then looked at the thief. "Guang Bro. What Guang Bro? What does Guang Bro do?" "Brother Guang is Zhou Ruoguang, the boss of the North District. This flower, bird, and fish market is also owned by his family." The thief said whatever was on his mind. He was afraid of becoming an idiot, so he naturally did not dare to hide anything. "Oh. Zhou Ruoguang." Lin Yi blinked, not expecting it to be Zhou Ruoguang again. Now he was at loggerheads with his family. "Call him, tell him to come here in 10 minutes, or I'll tear this place down." "Alright, I'll make the call now." The thief was a little afraid of Zhou Ruoguang, but he was more afraid of Lin Yi right now. Zhou Ruoguang could only beat him half to death, but Lin Yi could make him wish he was dead. But, just as Lin Yi was talking to the thief, a security guard standing not too far away suddenly went berserk. He held a sharp knife in his hand as he approached Meng Yao. He wanted to use Meng Yao as a hostage to force Lin Yi to leave. He didn't feel safe with Lin Yi standing there. Since Lin Yi had already turned one person into an idiot, a few more wouldn't make a difference. Chapter 430. Turn into a few more. "Man, I didn't want to create too much food wasting trash, but you could have just stood there and waited for Zhou Ruoguang to come and everything would have been fine. Why bother?" Lin Yi looked at the guard sympathetically. "Oh, a new idiot is born." Yushu waved her fist. "Shield bro, turn into a few more. 2 is too few." The other guards and thieves sweated as they listened. Why was this girl so cruel? Did she like seeing people turn into idiots? Gotcha. The door opened with a creak, and Xia Fenpian's eyes lit up when he saw Meng Yao and Yushu in the room. "Such a beautiful girl, it's really a waste. If only Zhou Tiandi hadn't come today. Hee hee. Ha. Ha ha. Catch the thief." The security captain grabbed at Fenpian like a maniac, drooling from the inside. "What are you doing?" Fenpian jumped. "Have you never seen a woman before? Even if these two girls are pretty, you don't have to be this infatuated, do you? You're drooling, don't you think that's disgusting? Mr. Zhou's here. Stand properly." Fenpian was pissed off. The security captain wasn't usually like this. What was wrong with him today? He had to make a fool out of himself in front of Tiandi, wasn't he? "Mr. Zhou. Zhou Ruoguang's here." Lin Yi looked at Fenpian. Fenpian evidently hadn't figured out what was going on in the room yet, not knowing that Lin Yi had the upper hand. "You know Guang Bro." "That's no use, it's Guang Bro's father who came today. If you know what's good for you, you'd better shut up, or else." "Ha ha." Slap. Fenpian didn't even get to finish before Lin Yi slapped him in the face. His ears started to bleed, and he fell to the ground, unconscious. Lin Yi was losing his patience. These Zhous didn't know what death was like, did they? Why were there so many idiots being sent to him one after another? Zhou Tiandi and Zhou Ruoguang were dumbfounded when they heard the slaps and screams, especially when they heard Lin Yi's voice. The two of them stood at the door of the security room, not knowing whether to go in or not. They didn't know what to do. But even if they didn't come in, Lin Yi could still see them. He smiled coldly. "Zhou Tiandi, Zhou Ruoguang, come in." Tiandi and Zhou Ruoguang looked at each other and forced themselves to walk into the security room. They wanted to kill the security captain right now. Of all the people he shouldn't mess with, why did he have to mess with Lin Yi? But wasn't Lin Yi with Tang Yun? Zhou Ruoming, however, saw Meng Yao and Yushu. I say, Zhou Tiandi, haven't you had enough of going against me? Lin Yi knew that today's incident had nothing to do with Tiandi, but if Tiandi still wanted to use these small security guards after losing a golden class master, then he'd have to be an idiot. So, it could only be said that it was a coincidence. Still, Lin Yi was quite annoyed. Why did Tiandi's family always have to make things difficult for him? No. Boss Lin, you've misunderstood. Tiandi's face paled. Boss Lin, that wasn't what I meant, I didn't know. Right, it was that Xia Fenpian, he was the one who said he caught a couple of thieves for me to take a look at, right, Ruoming? Lin Yi nodded. Yes. Zhou Ruoming was scared out of his wits as he nodded. We didn't come to flirt with pretty girls, Tiandi almost exploded at his son's words. Wasn't this just showing that he wasn't hiding something? He really wanted to send him flying with a kick. You idiot, what are you talking about? We're here to handle a theft case, and we're here to make sure it's fair and just. Yes. Boss Lin, this really has nothing to do with us. Ruoming quickly corrected himself. Boss Lin, this really has nothing to do with us. Alright, I don't have time to waste with you guys. Load the 3 saplings and you two can leave. But don't mess with me next time, or I'll burn your house down. Lin Yi waved his hand impatiently. That's it for today. If you want to tell others, then do what you want, Zhou Ruoming paused. How could he just tell others? Wouldn't he be crazy if he told others about something like this? But he understood what Lin Yi was getting at. He was probably talking about seeing him with Meng Yao and Yushu, but what did Lin Yi have to do with Meng Yao and Yushu? They didn't say anything about that at school, did they? As confused as he was, Zhou Ruoming didn't dare ask. He and his father quickly went out to get the saplings after Lin Yi asked for them. Give me 3 saplings. Tiandi found a shop that sold saplings and asked the owner. How much? The shop owner saw that it was a big shot from the market asking for saplings. Why would he take money? He quickly brought the saplings over with a smile. Why do you need money? It's not that much. Just bring it over if you want to use it. I'll give you the money. Here's 100 kuai, is that enough? Tiandi took out 100 kuai from his wallet and handed it to the owner. I don't need that much, the saplings are cheap, just a few kuai each. The owner quickly waved his hand. Tiandi didn't have the time to waste with him. He threw the money down and grabbed the saplings before walking out. I'll get a worker to carry it for you. The owner asked kindly, seeing that Tiandi was doing it himself. It's fine. Tiandi refused decisively. He had to carry the saplings himself to show his sincerity. What if he got a worker and Lin Yi picked on him again? Plus, the saplings weren't heavy at all. He put the saplings in the car and carefully stood beside it, smiling. Boss Lin Yi, is there anything else you need? Nope. Right, I turned 2 of your security guards into idiots, is that okay? Lin Yi looked at Tiandi. They won't ask me for medical fees, will they? No, they won't, don't worry. Tiandi jumped. Turning people into idiots. What kind of technique was that? No wonder that security captain was acting so strangely. He thought he was a love-struck fool, but it turned out that he was an idiot. They fell and became idiots themselves, we'll compensate them according to the standard for work-related injuries. Chapter 431. Chapter 431, Breakthrough. Mingyao wasn't in the mood for Zhou Ruoming's family, and she'd been silent since she got in the car. Yushu, on the other hand, didn't seem to be affected. Shield bro, why willow trees? Isn't it better if we plant fruit trees? We can eat the fruits when they're ripe. Shoo! Didn't he say that he wouldn't ask such a stupid question? We'll be graduating by next year by then. Meng Yao reminded. Oh. Then why willow trees? Yushu nodded. That, I don't know. Lin Yi, why? Meng Yao asked. Haven't you guys heard of this saying? It's called planting a flower with the intention doesn't bloom, but planting a willow without the intention grows a shade. Lin Yi smiled. Willow trees are easier to grow, and it doesn't take much effort to take care of them. I see. Yushu nodded. Dr. Kang's villa. Grandpa, according to the lab's analysis, there are different types of dog poop. Different breeds of dog poop make different poop, so I suspect that not every type of dog poop can be used as a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Xiaolong said. Oh. That's a big discovery. Dr. Kong said, taking Xiaolong's words very seriously. No wonder the effects of dog poop haven't been discovered yet. Different dogs make different poop. Good job, Xiaolong. Have you figured out what kind of dog shit this is? We compared and sampled thousands of dog poop samples, and consulted many dog experts. We came to the conclusion that this poop is most likely from a German Shepherd. Xiaolong said. Oh. No wonder, I heard that this dog's value is second only to the Tibetan Mastiff. It's very rare and expensive. Miracle Dr. Kong nodded. Alright, hurry up and get me one of these dogs. Let them poop and compare it, then report the results to me. Alright, Grandpa. I've already sent someone to buy one, so we should have news soon. Xiaolong said. By the way, when are you going to the Xiao family in Yanjing to propose marriage? Dr. Kong asked. Xiaolong's heart skipped a beat. That girl was quite pretty, and it wouldn't be hard to marry her. Even if the Xiao family wasn't that powerful right now, she could still be a stepping stone for House Kong. When House Kong grew stronger, he'd replace her and find a bigger family. But that was what he'd thought in the past. Xiaolong, who was about to figure out the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, was full of confidence. He didn't really think much of Xinyan. Grandpa, I think the most important thing right now is to figure out what kind of dog poop the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is made from. That's the most important thing for our family right now. As for the marriage, I think we can postpone it for a while. If we really manage to figure out the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, our House Kang's position will skyrocket, and we might not have to marry into the Xiao family anymore. Xiaolong said. You're right, I didn't think it through before. Dr. Kong nodded in agreement after hearing Xiaolong's analysis. I've always thought of our family as a weak family, but if we have the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, things will be different. Golden creation is just a medicine for injuries. It can heal wounds, but it's only popular among women. It's a luxury item for the upper class. But the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is different, it can save lives. Yeah, once we succeed, we won't be a small family anymore. All the other families will be begging us. Dr. Kong said. But if we can figure out the recipe, others can too, right? Don't worry, Grandpa. We won't be as stupid as Kong Xiaobo, taking dog poop out directly. We'll add some fragrance or something to make the pill fragrant. It won't be easy for people to analyze it then. Xiaolong said. But there's a risk, too, our main ingredient is dog poop. No matter how hard we try to cover it up, the dog poop will still be found out, won't it? Dr. Kong hesitated. That's true. Xiaolong nodded. It looks like I'll have to figure out how to keep the recipe a secret. Grandpa, I have an idea. Kong Ming, who hadn't had the chance to speak up until now, stood up. He didn't want Xiaolong to take the lead. We'll reduce the proportion of dog poop in each pill, making it as rare as possible. We'll use the rest of the useless ingredients, so we'll just need to take a few more pills. It had to be said that Kong Ming Ming's plan was worth 3. Dr. Kong and Xiaolong listened to Kong Ming Ming's plan and were enlightened. Dr. Kong said, "Illumination's method is feasible. Not bad, you two brothers, one intellectual and one martial. House Kong will be able to flourish in the future." Xiaolong wasn't happy that Kong Ming Ming took half of the credit, but he had to admit that Kong Ming Ming's method was very good. Diluting the dog poop and making it look like a supplementary ingredient that people could ignore. Hee hee. Kong Ming Ming smiled. "Grandpa, Big Brother doesn't like that girl. Why don't you give her to me?" Kong Xiaoming didn't have any great ambitions in his heart. Sneaking around was fine, but he didn't want to be in control of the corporation. As long as he got the shares in his hands, being a playboy wasn't a bad idea. So when he saw that Xiaolong wasn't interested in Wang Xinyan, he wanted to take her for himself. "You brat, what are you thinking? She's your sister-in-law." Dr. Kong glared at his grandson helplessly. "Hee hee, I was just saying." Kong Ming Ming felt that it wasn't appropriate and quickly changed his words. Fatty Lai finally got Lin Yi's number from Xuemin with tears and snot on his face. He'd asked for Lu Tiany's number before, but Lu Tiany wouldn't give him Lin Yi's number no matter what. In the end, Fatty Lai panicked and wanted to be irreconcilable enemies. Lu Tiany had no choice but to give him some advice. "Brother Lai, it's not that I'm trying to make things difficult for you, but I really don't dare to. I'm begging Miracle Dr. Lin, how could I just give his information to someone else? How about this? Professor Guan and Miracle Dr. Lin are very close. Go beg him, he'll definitely have a way." I begged him back then. And so, Fatty Lai ran to Xuemin's house as if he'd received an imperial edict. Xuemin didn't tell him, so he knelt in front of Xuemin's house and started crying. Guan Xian came home from her night shift and was shocked to see a fatty crying in front of her house. "You? Who are you? What do you want? Are you Guan Xuemin's family?" Fatty Lai raised his head and asked as soon as he heard someone talking to him. Chapter 432. Little Bodyguard. "Aw. You're Professor Guan's granddaughter? That's great. Do you know Miracle Dr. Lin Yi's number? I'm looking for him." Fatty Lai started sobbing again. "My dad has uremia and he's dying. Miracle Dr. Lin can cure him, but Professor Guan won't tell us his number." Lin Yi was stunned. "You're looking for Lin Yi?" Guan Xian paused and looked at the pitiful Fatty Lai. "Why don't I tell you? If he blames you, just tell him I gave it to him." Guan Xian was a kind-hearted person. She couldn't bear to see the fatty crying in front of her door, so she gave him Lin Yi's number. Thank you. Miss Guan, you're such a kind-hearted person. You must be Miracle Dr. Lin's girlfriend, right?" Fatty Lai may be a crybaby, but he was a veteran in the business world. His ability to read people's expressions was extraordinary. He saw Guan Xian's blush when she mentioned Lin Yi, and he knew that her relationship with Lin Yi wasn't simple. No wonder Xuemin and Lin Yi were so close. It was because of this. Fatty Lai had been wondering why Lin Yi started a medicine company with Xuemin. Did he trust Xuemin that much? Lin Yi's medical skills were much better than Xuemin's. So there was this layer of relationship between them. "No. We're just good friends." Guan Xian was embarrassed by Fatty Lai's words, stuttering as she blushed. But she was happy inside. The fatty may be a crybaby, but his words were nice. Giving him her number wasn't a waste. Then I won't bother Miss Guan anymore. I'll go make the call." Fatty Lai wanted to get closer to Lin Yi as soon as possible. Guan Axayan was already embarrassed, but Fatty Lai's words made her breathe a sigh of relief as she ran into the villa. Lin Yi remembered that Tang Yun was supposed to participate in the tree planting tomorrow. He wondered if she had any saplings. He took out his phone and was about to make a call when it rang. He thought it was Tang Yun, but it was an unfamiliar number. Hello. Lin Yi answered the phone. Is that Miracle Dr. Lin? Fatty Lai asked in surprise. Miracle Dr. Lin. Who are you? Lin Yi was slightly startled. A few days ago, he was looking for Thief Lin, and today, he was looking for Miracle Dr. Lin. Miracle Dr. Lin, it really is you. I'm Lai Changyi. Fatty Lai quickly introduced himself. Lai Changyi. I don't know him. Lin Yi was about to hang up the phone. Sob sob. Miracle Dr. Lin, don't you recognize me? Wah. Fatty Lai started crying again. I remember. As soon as Lin Yi heard the crying, he connected the dots. You are the crying Fatty, right? Yes, it's me, Miracle Dr. Lin. You remember now. Fatty Lai was pleasantly surprised. I remember now. What's the matter? Lin Yi asked. It's like this. That pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is very effective. I'm here to pay for your medical fees. Should I transfer the money to you? Fatty Lai asked. Oh, that? No need. I told you it's for you. Lin Yi refused after hearing Fatty Lai's intentions. 100 million wasn't a small amount, and Lin Yi needed money, but that pill was covered in dog poop, and Kong Mingming had thrown it away. Lin Yi couldn't just accept the money. How can I do that? You have to take the money, or my conscience will be hurt. Sob sob. Fatty Lai started crying again. Ha! Lin Yi was speechless. Isn't it good to save money for you? How about this? Miracle Dr. Lin, don't you want to open a medical company? How about I give you an office building? I'm building a new building, and I'm planning to move my company there, but I don't need a lot of space. A few floors are enough. I wanted to rent out the rest, but I'll give it to you. What do you think? Fatty Lai asked. If you really want to give it to me, then give it to me. Lin Yi didn't reject the offer. It saved him the trouble of looking for another place. Okay. Write your name on the deed. Fatty Lai was overjoyed that Lin Yi didn't reject him anymore. Write Grandpa Guan. Lin Yi wanted to say Guan Xuemin's name, but Xuemin probably wouldn't agree. Write it under Guan Xian's name. Okay, I'll remember it. Fatty Lai nodded quickly. Lin Yi and Guan Xian really had a close relationship. It seemed like his guess was right. Is there anything else? Lin Yi was in a hurry to call Tang Yun. He wasn't in the mood to waste time with Fatty Lai. Yes. That pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Can you sell me another one? Fatty Lai stated his intentions. Oh, your old man won't die for a while. Lin Yi said. When the medical company opens in a few days, I'll take some out for auction. You can buy it then. Okay. As long as it's for sale. Fatty Lai didn't lack money. He didn't care if it was an auction or not. Sob sob, I'm so happy. Lin Yi hung up and let out a sigh of relief. This guy was too much of a drag. He couldn't take it anymore. He shook his head and dialed Tang Yun's number. Hello. Lin Yi. What's up? Tang Yun had just returned home from the hospital when she received Lin Yi's call. We're planting trees at school tomorrow. Do you have a tree? Lin Yi asked. Yeah, do you want one? I have a lot in my yard. Tang Yun said. Just a couple of saplings will do. Ugh. Lin Yi slapped his forehead, remembering that Tang Yun lived in a house in the slums. There was a yard in front of their house, and there were a lot of wild saplings. No, I was thinking that if you don't have any, I can buy some for you. No need, haha. Tang Yun was very happy. Her heart was filled with sweetness at Lin Yi's concern. So, the feeling of being in love was a wonderful thing. She had always rejected it, but now that she really liked someone, she couldn't stop it. Alright, see you tomorrow. They chatted for a while until Mrs. Tang called Tang Yun for dinner. Lin Yi hung up. In the floating cloud bar, Jiang Wen's face was dark as he sat beside Sihua. Sihua bro, you have to help me this time. Send some strong people to teach that Lin Yi a lesson. Tai Zhao and I are in big trouble this time. Sihua didn't say anything. Sihua bro, you know that the masters from the fire wolves were taken away by my big bro. The new masters aren't here yet. I wouldn't be asking you for this if it wasn't for that. Jiang Wen was panicking when Sihua didn't say anything. Master. What level of master? Sihua sighed, finally speaking. Chapter 433. Chapter 433, Jiang Wen's visit, little bodyguard. Sihua smiled coldly. Golden class early phase. Is that so strong? Golden class early phase isn't strong. Normal people like us can never reach that height in our lifetimes. Not to mention golden class early phase, even body refinement and chi refining late phase can't reach it. Jiang Wen evidently knew a lot about ancient martial arts, and knew that there were two ways to reach golden class, chi refining and body refinement. Haha, that's true, but Lin Yi isn't a normal person. Sihua said faintly. Why would I keep him around if he was? Now that he had established a working relationship with Jiang Wen, the two sides were having a good time working together, and Sihua had gotten a huge amount of money from it. He didn't think that selling human organs would be this profitable. No wonder Housen, who wasn't that famous before, had become a new noble house all of a sudden. Sihua didn't want to have anything to do with Jiang Wen right now, and so he told the truth about Lin Yi. Not a normal person. What do you mean? Jiang Wen paused. Isn't he Mingyao's bodyguard? Do you think anyone can be a bodyguard? Pingzhan wouldn't have hired him to be Mingyao's side if he wasn't capable at all. Sihua shook his head. Pingzhan is a person like that. Even the shareholders of his company have masters protecting them, and that Faubert beside him must be at least golden class. Why would he put a piece of trash beside his beloved daughter? Sihua's analysis might sound convincing, but he'd underestimated Lin Yi before this. Many people were like that, they wouldn't be able to see the reality in front of them if they didn't experience it themselves. Jiang Wen's face changed. Lin Yi is a golden class as well. I'm a golden class early phase and a golden class late phase, and he killed them. Sihua roared. Do I hate him? Do I want him to die? Of course I hate him, of course I do. But I have no choice, I don't have the strength to fight him. What? What did you say? Sihua bro, are you saying that an early phase and a late phase golden class were killed by Lin Yi? Jiang Wen's eyes went wide as he stared at Sihua in horror. He felt as if his scalp was about to explode, a chill running down his spine. I'm not sure if he killed her, but it looks like a car accident. Sihua sighed, calming himself down. But I don't believe that two golden class masters would die in a car accident. Plus, I sent that early phase golden class master to test Lin Yi, and he didn't get any advantage. Ah. Jiang Wen was completely dumbfounded. He thought that Lin Yi was just a small fry who knew some kung fu, but it seemed like that wasn't the case at all. Not only was Lin Yi powerful, but he was also extremely powerful. So, if he's not a threat to you, just let him go for now. It's good for both of us. Sihua smiled bitterly. I, Sihua bro, have dominated Songshan for 5 years, and I can't do anything to a brat who just came here. Don't you think that's unfair? But I can tolerate this. Jiang Wen knew that Sihua wouldn't lie to him, and there was no reason for him to do so, especially since they were working together now. Sihua wouldn't want anything to happen to him and affect the cooperation. He's not a threat. Jiang Wen shook his head. He's just Mingyao's bodyguard, not her boyfriend. According to my investigation, he has a girlfriend called Tang Yun, one of the school beauties of Songshan's first school. She's as pretty as Mengyao, so there shouldn't be anything going on between them. It's just that I can't tolerate this. So what if you can't tolerate it? Humans need to tolerate it, and you'll get used to it. Sihua said with a wave of his hand. I wanted to do it with Tang Yun, but it seems like that's not a good idea anymore. Jiang Wen said. Don't, please don't. If you touch his woman, he'll never forgive you. Even if he's a late-phase golden class, you won't be able to rest for the rest of your life. Sihua said quickly. Unless you have a master of a higher level by your side to protect you. Yes. You're right, I should change the way I treat Lin Yi. Since we can't be enemies, we should be friends. With him by Mingyao's side, he'll be like a spy, and I'll be able to keep track of Mingyao's movements. Jiang Wen thought it through quickly. That's the right way to think. Sihua raised his glass. Come, let's toast to our cooperation. Cheers. Jiang Wen was no longer depressed now that he'd found a temporary solution. Sihua bro, the number of people you've been capturing has clearly decreased a lot, not as much as the first 2 days. The firewolves aren't able to keep up with the demand. Masterin, you know that there's only so many beggars and vagrants in Songshan. We've caught most of them already, and the ones who got the news have run away. It's not easy for us to catch them. Sihua said. What about the disabled? There should be a lot of them, right? They're a weak group, and no one would care even if we captured them, right? Jiang Wen had never seen so much money before. The amount of money in his bank account skyrocketed, driving him crazy. It's not that easy to capture the disabled. Some of them are very rich, and they have powerful relatives at home. We can't just touch them like that, and we can only wait in the slums and the suburbs, capturing them the moment we see them. Sihua said. Don't worry, I know some underground bosses in other cities in the province. We can work with them. Alright, I'll leave this to you, Sihua bro. Jiang Wen nodded. He knew that he'd be able to make more money if he went to the other cities to work with the underground bosses, but Jiang Wen wasn't familiar with the place and the people. Hao San's roots were in Songshan, and he'd be in trouble if he were to cross the border. Might as well let Sihua handle this. Yeah, don't worry, it's not a problem. Sihua said with a wave of his hand. What surprised Lin Yi was the fact that Jiang Wen still had the face to come visit him again. Lin Yi thought that he'd heard wrong when Yushu called out to him from the door. Shield bro, Jiang Wen's here again. He's here to ask you out for dinner. Yushu called out from Lin Yi's room. Chapter 434. Chapter 434. Too little Mingyao, on the other hand, sat on the side, her face cold as she chatted with Jiang Wen. Lin Yi, he's here for you. Come talk to him. Mingyao breathed out in relief when she saw Lin Yi. She got up and walked upstairs. Jiang Wen smiled bitterly. He was here for Lin Yi, but he also wanted to get closer to Mingyao. It was like he was here for Lin Yi, and Mingyao wasn't welcoming him at all. Jiang Wen didn't know what he'd done wrong. His relationship with Meng Yao was getting worse and worse. Bro Lin, come sit. Jiang Wen greeted Lin Yi warmly. It's been a few days, I've really missed you. Lin Yi felt a chill run down his spine. Could it be that Jiang Wen's sexual orientation changed because of the medicine? He walked over and sat on the sofa 1 meter away from Jiang Wen. Masterin, what's up? Did that doll feel good? Jiang Wen's face changed. He didn't think that Lin Yi was ready to go all out with him today. But Jiang Wen wasn't planning on going all out with Lin Yi today. He was here to show his friendliness to Lin Yi. And so, Jiang Wen suppressed his anger. Lil bro Lin Yi, you're joking. I was just joking last time. That blow-up doll wasn't too bad, no different from a real person. Bro Lin, do you want to try? I'll pass. You play with it yourself. Lin Yi shook his head, wondering what kind of tricks the kid was up to this time. Lin Yi didn't believe that Jiang Wen didn't care about what happened before at all. There was no way he'd be that magnanimous. There had to be something going on. The kid had to have something up his sleeves. Lin Yi raised his guard. That's fine. Bro Lin has a pretty girlfriend. You don't need these things, I heard she's the school beauty. As famous as Yao Yao sis. Jiang Wen smiled. What do you want to do? Lin Yi's face darkened and his attitude became cold. This guy wanted to make a move on Tang Yun. Lin Yi wouldn't let him off so easily if he wanted to do anything to Tang Yun. I'm a poor person. Although I don't like to give things to others, I don't mind giving you a coffin. Jiang Wen was a little pissed off at Lin Yi's threat, but when he thought about the 2 golden class masters that had died under Zihua's hands, he calmed down. Compared to those 2 golden class masters, he was nothing. Threatening Lin Yi like that was asking for death. Brother Lin, you've misunderstood. I'm just congratulating Brother Lin for bringing home the beauty. I don't mean anything else. Jiang Wen quickly explained, feeling lucky that he went to Zihua first and didn't do anything to Tang Yun. Otherwise, he'd be dead by now. Oh. Lin Yi nodded faintly and waited for Jiang Wen to continue. He didn't know what he meant. It's like this. You've brought home the beauty, but I'm still alone. Jiang Wen said. You're always by Yao Yao sis's side. You can always get news about her, right? And? Lin Yi asked. I feel that Yao Yao sis is a lot colder to me. Does she have a boyfriend or someone she likes? Do you know? Jiang Wen asked. How would I know? Lin Yi shook his head. Why would I research that stuff? That's true. Lin Yi bro, you have a girlfriend. You don't have to worry about that anymore. But I don't. I've been chasing after Meng Yao for so many years. You don't know how a hungry man feels. Jiang Wen's voice was very serious. I've wronged you before because I thought you were Meng Yao's boyfriend, but now that I've done my research, we don't have anything against each other at all. We can totally be friends. Oh, I would have been in trouble if I hadn't been alert. Lin Yi didn't pity him at all. What did it have to do with him whether Jiang Wen got Meng Yao or not? Lin Yi couldn't let someone as dangerous as Jiang Wen get close to Meng Yao. Jiang Wen was a little embarrassed. We got to know each other after a fight. Plus, you didn't lose anything, Brother Lin. Oh, then what do you want me to do? Lin Yi wasn't in the mood to argue with him. He wanted to know what Jiang Wen's real intentions were. Lil bro Lin, you see Meng Yao all the time, both at school and at home. Can you help me keep an eye out for guys who get really close to her, or if there's any news? Can you let me know right away? Jiang Wen said. You want me to be a spy? Lin Yi understood what Jiang Wen was getting at. Yeah, that's about it. Jiang Wen nodded. That's not an easy job. You know that I'm employed by Mr. Pingzhan. How can I be a spy for someone else? Lin Yi looked at Jiang Wen. Of course, I won't let you do it for free. There'll be benefits. Jiang Wen saw that Lin Yi wasn't giving him a definite answer. There should be some room for negotiation. I'll pay you. Oh, that's fine. 500,000 a month. That'll be enough to help you. Lin Yi said directly. 500,000. Jiang Wen paused. He was thinking of giving Lin Yi 100,000 at most. He didn't expect Lin Yi to ask for 500,000 a month. Forget it if you think it's too much. I don't really want to do it. It's very dangerous. It's not worth it to lose my job for such a small amount of money. Lin Yi said faintly. 500,000 was a small amount. Jiang Wen felt a little dizzy. But when he thought about how Lin Yi might be a late-phase golden class, he didn't think it was strange anymore. Hiring a late-phase golden class as a bodyguard wouldn't be cheap. The early-phase golden class with his brother cost 5 million a year, not to mention that Lin Yi was a late-phase golden class. Thinking about it that way, Jiang Wen felt a lot better. 500,000 was only the price of selling a kidney. It wasn't a lot anymore. All right, 500,000. I'll leave everything to you, Brother Lin. Jiang Wen said. Give me your bank account number. I'll transfer it to you directly. Lin Yi told Jiang Wen his bank account number and sent him away. Yushu popped her head out of the washroom. Shield bro, why did you only ask for 500,000? It's too little. Chapter 435. Chapter 435, Meticulous Thoughts. You're right, you have to treat us then, or I'll tell Yao Yao about this. Yushu said as she rolled her eyes. I can treat you, but what do you want me to treat you? Lin Yi asked. I want to eat shark meat. When are you going to take me to catch sharks again? Yushu couldn't forget about shark meat. Maybe when the time comes. Lin Yi sweated. Shark meat wasn't tasty at all. Why was Chin Yi so addicted to it? The next day, the entire graduating class was suspended for a day, and the tree planting activity began. This was a group activity second only to the spring outing and art festival. After entering the 12th grade, the extracurricular activities had decreased a lot, so most students were looking forward to this activity. Lin Yi, naturally, couldn't be too close to Meng Yao and Yushu in school. Lin Yi gave them the willow seedlings and told them a few things to pay attention to before going to find Tang Yun. Tang Yun brought an elm seedling, which was one of the easiest to grow, similar to Lin Yi's willow. Tang Yun was very happy to see Lin Yi walking over, but hesitated. She had accepted Lin Yi from the bottom of her heart, but walking with Lin Yi in front of so many students was still a little embarrassing. Let's go there, there's less people there. Tang Yun pointed at an empty space not far away. Okay. Lin Yi nodded and went to hold Tang Yun's hand. Tang Yun jumped in fright and tried to run away like a rabbit. She dodged to the side, but she was afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't be happy, so she dodged back and looked around. Only after making sure that no one was looking did she give her hand to Lin Yi. Ha! Lin Yi couldn't help but find it funny looking at Tang Yun's timid face, but he had the urge to protect her even more. She was a cute girl. I'll carry it for you. Lin Yi saw the shovel and seedlings in Tang Yun's hands and grabbed them. It wasn't much for him, but it was a bit heavy for Tang Yun. They found a place with fewer people and Lin Yi placed the seedlings on the ground, preparing to dig a hole. This seems to be Zhou Ruoming's turf. He used to plant trees around here and wouldn't let anyone plant here. Tang Yun looked around and said to Lin Yi. I was wondering why there were so few people here. Let's do it here then. Lin Yi heard that it was Zhou Ruoming's turf. Tang Yun heard Lin Yi's words and couldn't help but laugh. She covered her mouth and laughed. She couldn't hide from Zhou Ruoming before. She didn't dare get close to him. But now, he was planting trees in his turf. Ming bro, isn't that your turf? Why did someone take it over? Yun Lingxi carried the seedlings and looked up to see that their turf had been taken over. How dare someone plant trees in my turf? I'll dig up their trees and throw them away. Ruoming was infuriated by Yun Lingxi's words as well. He was about to run over when he suddenly stopped in his tracks. Wah! It's Lin Yi. Ugh! Are we still going to chase them away? Yun Lingxi asked carefully. Chase my ass, let's go help them. Zhou Ruoming didn't dare to provoke Lin Yi. He quickly put on a smile and walked over. Boss Lin Yi, are you planting trees with sis-in-law? I heard that they took over your turf. Do you want me to change it? Lin Yi looked at Zhou Ruoming and asked faintly. Boss Lin Yi, look at what you're saying. This is the school's land, how can it be mine? I planted a few trees nearby, but they're not mine. Besides, I'll continue planting trees next year and the year after that to protect Boss Lin Yi and sis-in-law's trees in the middle. I'll be the guardian of the trees. Zhou Ruoming said flatteringly. Oh, you've planted quite a lot of trees. It looks like you've been studying for years. Lin Yi said sarcastically. Ha, yeah, look at the trees all over the place. I've planted quite a few of them. Zhou Ruoming said proudly, I'm planning to plant fruit trees this year and will be able to eat them next year. Boss Lin Yi will bring sis-in-law back to eat too, right? Let's talk about it when we're free. Lin Yi was speechless. This Zhou Ruoming wanted to continue studying in high school and never graduate. Tang Yun's body was shaking from laughter. With her bright and beautiful face, she looked like a flower. Zhou Ruoming was also stunned, but he didn't dare to stare too much. He knew that Tang Yun was no longer the Tang Yun of the past. If he still had any improper thoughts, the consequences would be unimaginable. Lingxi, come, let's help Boss Lin Yi dig a hole. Zhou Ruoming stretched his arms and got ready to work. In the past, he would find a laborer to do this, but today, he had to do it himself. He wanted to calm Lin Yi's anger as soon as possible. Otherwise, if Lin Yi came looking for them, their family would be finished. Even Uncle Yen wasn't Lin Yi's opponent. What was he? Alright, you don't have to do it. Go away. Lin Yi looked at Zhou Ruoming's clumsy look and frowned. You just need to stay away from me and Tang Yun from now on. Don't worry, I don't care about small fries. Yes, then I'll go. Zhou Ruoming heard Lin Yi's words and was overjoyed. His personal safety was guaranteed. Although he was seen as a small fry by Lin Yi, even if he was seen as an ant, as long as Lin Yi didn't come looking for trouble, he would accept it. After Zhou Ruoming left, Lin Yi quickly dug 2 holes. This kind of thing couldn't be easier for Lin Yi. It was much easier than Zhou Ruoming. Shock flashed through Tang Yun's eyes. Only now did Tang Yun understand that Lin Yi wasn't some young master at all. He was the same as her, he had suffered a lot, but today's achievement was the result of his own hard work. But the more it was like this, the more Tang Yun felt uneasy. Lin Yi was too outstanding. It made Tang Yun feel insecure. She was afraid that one day, Lin Yi wouldn't want her and fall in love with someone else. The only thing Tang Yun was confident about was her beautiful appearance. But what was the use of that? Wasn't Guan Xan pretty? Her grandfather was Miracle Dr. Guan. He helped Lin Yi's career a lot. Lin Yi and Guan Xan were a good match. Tang Yun sighed and shook her head. She forced herself not to think about it. Lin Yi wouldn't leave her, would he? Chapter 436. The lonely Xiao was watching Lin Yi and Tang Yun coldly from afar, her face cold. Who knew what she was thinking? Lil sis Xiao, when are you going to blow up Lin Yi? Pinliang asked, rubbing his palms together. Your fireworks aren't even ready yet, how am I supposed to blow him up? Xiao glared at him. Is your plan going to work or not? Don't let Lin Yi find out. He probably won't. Plus, we'll light up the firecrackers after we're sure it's on him and blow his ass up. We'll embarrass him to death. Pinliang imagined Lin Yi's ass turning red from the explosion, making a fool of himself in front of the whole school. This was his dream. Alright, but when will your firestones arrive? Xiao asked, looking at the dumbfounded Pinliang. Soon, I've called a couple of times already. Pinliang said. They're flying it over right now, it's called the Eskimo tree. Xiao looked at Pinliang oddly. Only a crazy person like him would fly a tree over. You play then, I'll be going back. Xiao turned and walked back to the school building. One had to admit, Xiao was the weakest of the big four, and yet she could order the second and third of the big four around. How cool was that? Xiao, on the other hand, was lonely. She didn't have a single true friend. She looked at the stupid Yushu next to Meng Yao, and the Kong Xiaobo next to Lin Yi. Xiao was a little envious. They all had friends, but she didn't. Friends. I don't need them. Xiao said in her heart. I don't need friends, and I don't need friendship. I'll just be happy by myself, and I don't need to be separated by death. Liang bro, why do I feel like Xiao's in a bad mood? Xiaofu asked curiously as he looked at Xiao's lonely figure. She was peed all over by Lin Yi. If it were you, would you be in a good mood? Pinliang curled his lips disapprovingly. Let's focus on the Firestone plan. Do you really think Mingyao's going to like it? I think so. Xiaofu thought about it. Liang bro, why don't you write some love notes for Mengyao, fold them into the shape of a heart and put them on the tree? I'm sure Mengyao will be very happy when she sees it. That makes sense. Then find some paper and help me write. Pinliang thought it was a good idea and nodded. He didn't have anything to do anyway, so he might as well write some notes. I'm afraid the two of us won't be enough. We need to find some help. Gao Xiaofu said, but as long as we give them some money, there should be a lot of people who will help. Alright, I'll leave it to you then. Pinliang took out 1,000 kuai and gave it to Xiaofu. You take care of this first, I'll go build some momentum. With that, Pinliang went to find Meng Yao. He needed to tell her about the news beforehand, so she could come out to see him confess his love. Shu, why aren't you digging anymore? Meng Yao asked curiously as she looked at Yushu, who was rubbing her hands on the ground. Oh, I'm tired. Yushu had tossed the shovel to the side. She thought that planting trees was new and interesting, but after digging for a while, she felt tired and decided to give up. She'd wait for Meng Yao to finish digging and plant the 2 trees in the same hole. Yao, let's plant the 2 trees together later, what do you think? It's not much, but you sure know how to slack off. Stand up and dig with me. Meng Yao rolled her eyes angrily. Yushu was treating her like a coolie. But Yao, I'm tired. You're the big sister, you're older than me, you have to let me. Yushu didn't want to get up. This Lin Yi, he's not helping, he only knows how to hit on girls. Meng Yao couldn't do anything to Yushu, so all she could do was grit her teeth and dig with the shovel. She was sweating profusely as she cursed Lin Yi. This bastard, I'm going to cut his salary. Doesn't he have the awareness of a follower? Doesn't he know that this is the time to help? Should I get Shield Bro to help? Yushu felt that it wasn't appropriate to let Meng Yao work alone. Get him. Forget it. He's hitting on girls, why would he care about us? Meng Yao humphed. I don't know what's so good about Tang Yun, our Shu is so much prettier than her, and cute too. Oh, Yao Yao isn't bad either, why don't you go seduce Shield Bro and give him a taste of sweetness? He'll come and work for you, right? Yushu suggested. Why don't you go with such a stupid suggestion? You have big boobs, you're perfect for seducing him. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. Okay, I'll try it next time. Yushu nodded in agreement. Meng Yao was about to continue lecturing Yushu when she heard Yushu call out happily. Yao Yao, we have a helper, the coolie is here. Meng Yao paused and raised her head to see Pinliang walking over quickly. She asked in a low voice, you're not talking about Pinliang, are you? Hee, yeah, free coolie like him, it'd be a waste not to use him. Yushu waved at Pinliang. Liang, Yao Yao is calling you. Pinliang was overjoyed when Yushu called him pretty. Pinliang wore a casual suit to match the fireworks tonight, and he thought that Meng Yao thought he looked more handsome because of the suit. He ran over happily. Yao Yao, Shu, what can I do for you? Yao Yao, aren't you tired? You go rest on the bench over there, I'll dig. Yushu said as she grabbed the shovel from Meng Yao's hands and gave her a look. Meng Yao found it funny, but she couldn't do anything about it. Yushu was more brainless than anyone else when she was with her, but she was so smart in front of others. She didn't know if it was an act or something. Yushu was most likely trying to send her away so that Pinliang could dig a hole for her. She knew that she wouldn't be able to help Pinliang dig a hole if she was there, but now that she was gone, Yushu could use her name to get Pinliang to do it. I'll go rest then. Meng Yao didn't want Pinliang's help, but digging a hole was really tiring. She really wanted to rest. Chapter 437. Hiring coolies. Pinliang wanted to talk to Yushu about the fireworks tonight without Meng Yao, but it wasn't a good idea to do it in front of Meng Yao. If Meng Yao didn't give him face and rejected him outright, Pinliang would be in a very bad spot. He wouldn't even have a chance to turn things around then. As a result, Pinliang planned to talk to Yushu first. As long as Yushu was willing to help, he'd be able to trick Meng Yao into coming out. He was sure that Meng Yao would definitely come out to see his fireworks show, and maybe she'd even fall in love with him. Yao Yao, go get some rest. Shu's right, you need some rest. Pinliang said, following Yushu's lead. Meng Yao was more than happy that Pinliang wouldn't bother her anymore. Since he'd asked her to leave, Meng Yao naturally wouldn't reject him. Yushu blinked at Pinliang after Meng Yao left. Liangi, what do you need from me? Just say it. Ugh. How did you know? Pinliang blinked. This Yushu really knew how to predict things. When have you ever come to me without asking for my help? Yushu grinned as she handed the shovel to Pinliang. Dig a hole for me first, then tell me what's going on. Okay. Pinliang quickly took the shovel and started digging, looking at Yushu gratefully. She'd always been a troublemaker when he asked for her help before, but she was being nice today. Meng Yao would have fainted if she'd known about this. Yushu hadn't even promised Pinliang anything yet, and all she did was treat him nicely. Pinliang was probably the only idiot in this world who'd fall for something like that. I'm thirsty. Get your lackey to get me some cold drinks. Yushu said as she sat down on a pile of dirt, hugging her legs. Okay. Pinliang called out to Xiaofu, who wasn't far away. Xiaofu, go get some drinks, make it cold. Come back quick. Xiaofu left to get the drinks, and Pinliang finally spoke up. Shu, I really do have something I need to get rid of you for. Oh, say it. What's the matter? I'll see if it's okay. Yushu nodded carelessly, a little unhappy that Pinliang had stopped digging. I'll do it myself if you don't want to. You don't need to say anything, let me finish first. I'll dig, how can I let you dig? Pinliang jumped and started digging again. I'll tell you as I dig. Here's the thing, there's a tree called the Eskimo tree, and it's said to be a symbol of love. Legend has it that if you confess your love to a girl under this tree, she'll fall in love. You're not going to tell me that you brought an Eskimo tree here, are you? Chen Yushu asked. How could there be such an idiot in this world? How could he believe such an unreliable legend? Yeah, I sent one over by air. I've already asked Xiaofu to write some confession notes and hang them on the tree, Pinliang said. Is that so? Yushu replied indifferently as she played with her phone. Of course, that's not the main show. I've prepared a show called Fireworks That Never Sleeps. I'm going to release fireworks on the tree and turn them into Yao Yao's name in the sky to confess my love to her. Pinliang didn't know if Yushu was listening to him. He gritted his teeth in anger, but he didn't dare get angry. Oh, there's fireworks. That's fun, I'll definitely go see it. Don't worry, I'll bring Yao Yao with me. Yushu, naturally, wanted to see the magical fireworks. That's great. Pinliang was overjoyed, and his digging speed increased. It wasn't long before he had a big hole. Shu, do you think this hole will work? Sure, you can dig another one next to it. Yushu nodded, satisfied. Again. Pinliang's face turned bitter. One was already tiring enough, and he still had to dig another one. This one's mine. You can dig another one for Yao Yao, but it's fine if you don't want to. I'll call Yao Yao over and tell her that you don't want to help her. Yushu stood up and went to call Meng Yao. Don't. Pinliang almost cried. He had worked so hard for so long just to dig for Meng Yao. If Yushu yelled at him like that, all his effort would go to waste. Who knew, Yushu might do something bad to him and ruin the night. With that thought, Pinliang gritted his teeth. I'll keep digging. How can I let you and Yao Yao do it? Leave these things to us men. Then you can continue. Yao Yao said that she likes stronger guys, Yushu said as she sat down. I'm strong. Look at me, I'm not tired at all. I'm only using 30% of my strength. I can still speed up. Pinliang said quickly. It wasn't long before Xiaofu came running over with a few bottles of drinks. Liang bro, I bought them. Is this enough? It's enough. Pinliang waved his hand, signaling Xiaofu to leave. He handed 2 bottles to Yushu. Give one to Yao Yao as well. Yeah, I'll go then. Take your time, call me when you're done. Yushu said as she took the drinks and ran over to Meng Yao. Pinliang was sweating profusely as he dug with the shovel. He was trying to show off how strong he was. He was tired, but he was gritting his teeth with a smile on his face. Yao Yao, here's a bottle. Yushu handed one to Meng Yao. I'm not drinking. You drink it yourself. Meng Yao shook her head. She was usually careful not to leave any openings for Pinliang, especially when it came to things like this. Then I'll drink it myself. Yushu didn't care, she was already used to blackmailing Pinliang. You tricked him into digging. Meng Yao frowned as she watched Pinliang work hard. No, I just said that Yao Yao likes strong guys, and he wanted to show off. Yushu said with a smile. Since when do I like strong guys? Meng Yao blinked. She didn't expect Yushu to come up with an excuse like this to trick Pinliang. Isn't Shield Bro very strong? You don't like him? Yushu asked. Chapter 438. And 4-drip Pinliang was drenched in sweat after digging 2 holes, but he could almost see Meng Yao looking at him with a face full of admiration. "Liang bro, you really are my Prince Charming." Pinliang wiped the sweat off his forehead, feeling energized from head to toe. He wasn't tired anymore. He was daydreaming when Yushu walked over with a grin on her face. "Liang, Yao Yao's asking if you're tired." "I'm not tired, it's only been a while." "I'm not tired at all. It wouldn't be a problem for me to dig 8 to 10 of these holes in one go," Pinliang said. "Oh, that's great. Yao Yao said that she likes strong and helpful guys the most, so go help others dig their holes," Yushu said. "Aw." Pinliang almost fell headfirst into the hole at Yushu's words. He still had to help others dig. But he'd already said what he'd said, wouldn't he be slapping his own face if he went back on his words now? Pinliang had no choice but to nod dejectedly. "I'll go help others, hee, we finally got rid of that idiot. Yao Yao, you can come over now, let's start planting trees." Yushu waved at Meng Yao. "Shoo, I really wonder why you're so dumb sometimes, but so smart at other times. Tell me, are you faking it?" Meng Yao was quite speechless at her best friend. "Oh, no, I'm a kid when I'm with Yao Yao." Yushu pulled on Meng Yao's arm. "I'm not dumb, alright, you're not dumb. I believe you." Meng Yao shook her head, deciding not to dwell on the problem. She picked up the sapling and started planting it. After a while, Meng Yao and Yushu finished planting the saplings and were about to head back to the classroom to rest when a couple of workers came running over with a strangely shaped sapling in their hands. Pinliang was at the front, directing them. Pinliang was so tired that his limbs were numb, but he had to act like he was fine in front of Meng Yao. "Be careful, guys, this is an imported sapling, don't damage it." He waved his arms and legs around. "Be careful, this is an imported sapling, don't break it. Yao Yao, look, someone's really doing that stupid thing you said." Yushu pointed at Pinliang's Eskimo tree excitedly. "Look, that tree's getting in 4-drip too." Meng Yao was speechless. Was Pinliang really that dumb? He'd gotten a tree within 4-drip. The tree would probably die if he didn't do that. "Let's go back to class, don't worry about him." "Alright." Yushu wanted to watch the show a little longer, but Pinliang still needed some time to prepare that firecracker silver flower. It wouldn't be too late to come out and watch when he was done. But Meng Yao and Yushu were just about to leave when Pinliang couldn't take it anymore, falling headfirst onto the ground. He really couldn't take it anymore. His legs were weak from all the digging, and he hadn't eaten anything since it was almost noon. His stomach was rumbling with hunger, and there was no way he'd be able to take it anymore. "Yao Yao, Pinliang seems to have fainted," Yushu said, wanting to watch the show. "Who cares, someone will take care of it." Meng Yao didn't want to care about Pinliang's life. "Just one look, I'll come back right away, alright." Yushu wasn't the type to pass up a show like this. "Alright, I'll take a look from afar." Meng Yao nodded, having no other choice. Yushu, on the other hand, quickly ran over. Xiaofu was frantically trying to help Pinliang up. Liang bro, what's wrong?" "I'll take a look." Yushu ran over to Pinliang. Xiaofu didn't know if he should let Yushu take a look or not, but if even Pinliang didn't dare offend Yushu, how could he? He made space for her to come over. "Oh, I know, he must be too weak. Just give him some nutrient fluid and he'll be fine." Yushu's eyes darted around as she pulled out the needle from the Eskimo tree beside Pinliang and stuck it into Pinliang's butt. The eyes of the bystanders wide, the nutrient fluid for plants could be used on a person. Xiaofu's face changed, almost having a heart attack. Pinliang wouldn't die, would he? Ouch. Pin Liang was woken up by the pain. How thick was the needle for the tree? Wouldn't it hurt like hell if it stuck him in the butt? Look, you're awake, aren't you? Yushu said proudly. I'm a miracle doctor. The bystanders almost fainted at Yushu's words. You call yourself a miracle doctor? But Pin Liang did wake up. Yushu, of course, wasn't an idiot. She wouldn't murder someone in front of so many bystanders. There was a lot of meat on his butt, and it wouldn't hurt much. All right, you don't need to thank me. I'm leaving. With that, Yushu turned and ran away, but when Pin Liang turned his head to look at the huge needle sticking out of his butt, he fainted again from the shock. What do we do? He fainted again. Should we pull the needle out and stick it in again? Xiaofu said, troubled as he looked at the unconscious Pin Liang. Shu, how can you just do that? What if you kill him? Meng Yao said, shocked by Yushu's actions. Hee, I won't. I picked the fleshy parts to stick it in. Yushu said. Meng Yao didn't know what to say. Wasn't her best friend a little too cruel? Xiaolong called a couple of pet shops, but none of them had purebred German shepherds. There were purebred German shepherds, but Xiaolong compared them with dog poop. There was still quite a difference. So Xiaolong decided to get a purebred German shepherd. He asked around and found out that purebred German shepherds needed to be ordered, but the order period wasn't clear yet. It was a more expensive breed, and the pet shop would usually contact the supplier after there was a buyer. Xiaolong was in a rush, and naturally, he couldn't wait for them to order. He could only use his connections to find out if there were any German shepherds in Donghai, and he really did find out. The owner of a big hotel in Donghai had a German shepherd, and coincidentally, he was a friend of Xiaolong's grandpa. He even went to Xiaolong's birthday celebration. Chapter 439. Chapter 439. Testing. This was a serious matter that concerned the future of House Kong, and so Dr. Kong took it very seriously. He called the owner of the hotel after talking to Xiaolong. He seemed to remember the owner bringing a dog with him on the day of the birthday banquet, but he didn't pay much attention to the dog at the time. He didn't know if it was a German shepherd or not. Mr. Zhang. I'm Kong Lai Kai. Dr. Kong had a good relationship with the owner of the hotel. Other than the big houses, all the other businessmen had a good relationship with House Kong. After all, House Kong was one of the most successful businessmen among them. They weren't as successful as the big houses, but they were much stronger than them. Hello, Dr. Kong. What can I do for you? The owner of the hotel asked curiously. Why would Dr. Kong call him personally? Even if they had contact, it would be through the eldest son of Dr. Kong, Kong Guifeng. It's like this. I heard that you have a German shepherd? Dr. Kong asked. Oh. I do have one. Mr. Zhang paused. He didn't know why Dr. Kong would suddenly bring this up. My wife doesn't have much to do at home, and she likes dogs. I think we brought that shepherd to your birthday banquet. Mr. Zhang, my grandson Xiaolong likes German shepherds. We've been to many pet shops, but we couldn't find one. I wouldn't be asking for it otherwise. Dr. Kong hesitated. Asking for a dog from Mr. Zhang might raise suspicions, but the situation was urgent. He didn't have time to think about it. Besides, even if Mr. Zhang suspected something, he wouldn't think that he was after dog poop. Oh. So Dr. Kang's grandson likes German shepherds? That's it. I'll get someone to send it to you later. Mr. Zhang paused. He didn't think that Dr. Kong would call to ask for a dog. What kind of big deal was this? With the Kong family's current power and financial resources, what dog couldn't they buy? Mr. Zhang didn't think much about the fact that Mr. Kong was calling him to ask for the dog, so he agreed without much thought. Miracle Dr. Kong, this dog of mine is a little special. My wife has been spoiling it since it was young, and it often steals food from our house, pees and defecates everywhere. If you hadn't mentioned this, I would have sold it or given it to someone else. But since I'm giving it to you, I have to tell you this first. I can't lie to you, Dr. Kong thought to himself, isn't it good to poop? He was afraid that it wouldn't poop, so he said, this is just a small problem. It's not a big deal. Thank you so much for helping me, Director Zhang. When the time comes, I'll definitely get Xiaolong to come and thank you personally. It's no big deal. Since Dr. Kong says there's no problem, I'll get someone to send the German Shepherd to you later. Mr. Zhang said. Mr. Zhang was one of the people who fawned over the Kangs, so it didn't take long for the German Shepherd to be delivered to the Kang's mansion. After Xiaolong got the German Shepherd, he fed it a huge meal of dog food and finally received a warm puddle of dog poop. It's the same. Exactly the same. After our lab analysis, we found that the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing's composition is exactly the same as this dog's poop. Our previous analysis was correct. The pill of life extension and toxin cleansing's composition is the German Shepherd's poop. Xiaolong excitedly took the analysis report and returned to the villa to report the good news to Dr. Kong. It's really the same. Dr. Kong couldn't hold back his excitement as well. He slammed his palm on the coffee table in front of him, almost knocking over the tea on it. One could imagine how excited he was right now. It's really the same. We've got the composition of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Xiaolong said. Next, we can start the clinical trial. Good. Good. There's hope for House Kong. Dr. Kong threw his head back in laughter. Xiaolong, you and Xiaoming are working hard this time. While you're buying purebred German Shepherds in bulk, get someone to try this dog poop and see if it's effective. Grandpa, I don't recommend getting outsiders to test it. Xiaolong shook his head. Our research on the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is still in a secretive stage, and we shouldn't let outsiders know about this. Even if we don't tell them it's dog poop, they'll probably be able to guess it, so we suggest that it's better for our own family to test it. You're right, go get your dad, your second uncle, and Xiaoming over. We'll discuss this together. Dr. Kong stood up and closed the curtains. Xiaolong was right, this was the family's top priority, and they couldn't let outsiders get involved. If the recipe were to be leaked, the losses wouldn't be small. In Dr. Kang's study, Kong Guifeng, Kong Cuepu, Kong Xiaolong, and Kong Mingming sat on the sofa. Dr. Kong, on the other hand, was sitting on his chair with his eyes closed, deep in thought. No one dared to disturb him, and they all sat on the side carefully, waiting for Dr. Kong to speak. After a while, Dr. Kong opened his eyes. This dog poop has been classified as House Kang's #1 secret. Only the few of us know about it. Don't tell anyone else, including your current and future wives. Understood. Kong Guifeng knew the importance of this. Once the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was successfully developed, House Kong would be in a completely different position. As a result, this recipe couldn't be leaked. Cuepu and Xiaolong nodded as well, even Kong Mingming understood the importance of this. He quickly promised, Grandpa, don't worry, we won't tell anyone. All right. Next up, we'll be researching the clinical trial. Xiaoming had enough trouble with it before, so this time, he won't be participating. Dr. Kong said. This time, Guifeng, Cuepu, Xiaolong, and I will be the ones to test it. Grandpa, I'm fine. Kong Mingming had been full of energy ever since he'd taken half of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Naturally, he wanted to participate as well. Since you've requested it, then let's participate as well. Dog poop doesn't go bad even if it doesn't taste good. Dr. Kong nodded, not insisting. I'll take the remaining half of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. You guys split the dog poop. Miracle, Dr. Kong said as he pointed at the 2 boxes on the coffee table. Dr. Kong wasn't an idiot. Although it looked like the dog poop was the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, he couldn't guarantee that it was the case. As a result, he decided to take the remaining half of the pill. Kong Ming Ming actually wanted to take the other half of the pill, but seeing that his grandpa had taken the initiative, he didn't want to argue. He could only nod in agreement.